Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Upgrade your membership to Gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Matt Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Oh, look at Nuss Flush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Kengan. Kenny Kengan wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donuts Silks make a run? Can Red Small make a run to be $50?
You son of a bitch!
Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Kengan, Smoke and Mirrors, Director 97 home. That is the way. Here comes Jason Meyer, the other auto custodian. Billy Friedrich, Joe's one all coming down the finish.
Coin! Fire! Nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty up the Kraken, we stacking. Chips, all of this, what I want, plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone, I prefer elevated Pub Sports Radio. Time to get educated, who get produced, fade the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call the truth. They getting slaughtered, can't forget Jeff and Low Baggers in the chat. That's a little record cause we need, oh yeah, pubbing. We be pubbing!
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, October 31st. Happy Halloween to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Very interesting card here. A little slighter than we're used to. 13 games across NHL, NFL, NCAA football, and the NBA. Bobano will be here to break down all of them. And it's a perfect card for us to attack. I've gotten off to a terrible start in NHL. Which is okay. I mean, you don't want it to happen, but I just need to dig in, and I'm hammering this card here. The mistakes that have been made are simply from trying to beat lines. I would not have been, and I probably should have bought off of it, but I would not have been on Vegas last night if I was on them early because I thought the Kings would beat the Sharks. Watching the Kings lose to the Sharks, I knew they would bounce back against Vegas. And then I didn't fix it. I think there was some. I should have just bought out of it, or at least taken the Kings first period. There's some. I'm trying to beat lines, and I'm not doing a great job at beating lines. Also, some lines I'm smash and grabbing, and those are cashing, like the Lightning last night, and other lines are going against me, and they're blowing up my face. So, I don't like it. But I'm attacking this card today, and I put a guarantee up by December 1st in the black in NHL. By November 15th, I expect to be in the black. And this is a huge week here. We have the Breeders' Cup in a little over 24 hours from now, right here, 5:30 p.m. on Friday night. Make sure you've got to the liquor store because there's a lot of horse racing action right here. Also, we have the Cappers Contest show at 3 p.m. today, and Jose Bouquet is unavailable today, so I have to produce this and the 3 p.m. show on my own, which means I have to do the polls for the first time. So a lot could go wrong. And here, when I'm bringing up the graphics for each game, Jose has hooked us up and loaded them up. If I fall behind, just let me know in the chat. I'll make sure that I've got the comments up so I can see them. Shout out to all the Cappers rocking with us. I feel good. Feel like a winning day is ready to commence. Shout out to our Cappers, Gordon and Kofsky on the Jets today. I'm on the Jets. I'm on the under. We'll be talking about that right after NHL. Dan Kelly, Kenny Atkinson, Coach of the Year, plus 850. He gave this out at 20-1. Says, great coach taking over great personnel from a mediocre coach. He gets the tie because the voters know he got screwed when the Nets fired him for Vaughn. I love it. Dan Kelly just gives out winners in the futures market year after year after year for us. Thank you, Dan. Stacks play of the day is in from Justin McKelvey. It is Garrett Wilson, over 64.5 receiving yards at plus 102. Let's get that copied and pasted so we can discuss here right after NHL. We're on a nice run on these Thursdays, a really nice run, and Bobano's been a big part of it. He's 5-0 over the last 3 Thursdays. So we're rolling and running nice right now. We need to keep that going. Donut Silk says Jacksonville State last night. Liberty team is trash this year. We got Gerald Jones in the house. Best bet is in. Houston, New York Jets under 43. Good God, is it caught up to 43? God, tell me that isn't so. 42.5 now. Those, you can get it at 43. I bet it at 42. Very, very uncomforting. That's such a key number, 43 too, and very, very uncomforting. I'm going to pop that here under the stacks play of the day. Gerald Jones, thank you for sharing that with us. We got MJ Striker, AEOD, Ilya Katz, Wine Time Sports, Series Business, Armchair MMA on a series heater right now. I'd love to hear it. 3-0 last night. Got the Dodgers live. Congratulations to the Dodgers for winning the World Series last night. I made fun of the COVID World Series. This one was completely legit. Showed it was a big test of character. Showed their character. With us knowing the issues that the Dodgers were going to face in that baseball game, it was very upsetting not cashing the Yankees -1. Now that bottom of the 5th was absolutely horrific. And they deserve to lose. You deserve to lose a baseball game when you play like that. But I just felt like we had such an advantage. We knew Flaherty on regular rest was going to get touched. We knew that Cole was locked in. We get a 5-0 lead. I felt bad for those because I almost doubled down. I almost was on first 5 -1/2. I felt terrible for anybody on the first 5 -1/2. But the Dodgers showed character and played smart, clean baseball and deserved to win. And So shout out to all of our Dodger fans, JPZ, Connor Mack, Guillermo Zertucci, and many others, Sharpie. Congratulations. A big World Series. It takes a bit of the pressure off of a lot of those Dodgers, but the core three were not a part of the problem. Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, and Mookie Betts. I mean, obviously they changed the character in that room, but great job from them. And Roberts gets his World Series, a real one. So congratulations to the Dodgers. Great to see all of you guys. And we have Kong's Clips in the houses. My favorite plays this weekend are Indiana against the spread and Army trifecta. Army Navy. We'll talk all about that one. Shout out to AOD in the house, always giving us positivity. What a guy is. I love you, AUD. Love Cap with you, man. So we'll copy and paste Kong's Clips. There's Crystal Craig in the house. A Dougie Wise free bands play today for Dougie Wise is the Jets. Certainly a lot of us on the Jets. You know, whether or not that means that we're going to get paid in full, it's another story. The Jets have cost me a ton of money this year, and I'm going back to them. I feel like I must, but it's not with it's with a lot of discomfort. The Clark Edge in the house. Clark Edge, great to see you, man. So we have Dougie Wise also on the Jets. Let's get that right under Gerald Jones's action here. God, it's a good job getting the 43. How's it going up? Ron Lofton in the house. 9 legacies on the Bruins. I get why you're on the Blues after the debacle. I'm on the Sharks with you. I do not, and I'll keep saying this. And this is a team that historically I hate, and I hate their coach. But I do not want to fade the Flyers ever. The Flyers are. I truly believe that the Flyers are going to print money. They're better than the market understands. The real hockey heads, they see it's a good hockey team. Now Drysdale's got to play better, -9 through 10 games, and so they have holes, but they have so much young talent, so many first round picks. It's going to succeed. I believe I believe they're going to print money. I really do. And you know, some of the things that I've said, I've not taken to the bank. There have been a couple spots I've been uncomfortable fading the Penguins. But, you know, with Marc-Andre Fleury coming back, how was I not fading him there? I thought they might bounce back after the road trip, but God, upsetting. Wine Time says, feel like this is going to be a huge weekend. I do too. Irish King with the King Smash. Dodgers win the World Series. Great job, Irish King, getting that cash. Pop that right under 9 legacies action so we can discuss it throughout. There we go. Abel A cashing the Dodgers to win the World Series at plus 500. Jim Dewigger says Texas third best pass defense. Yeah, you know, I feel like, you know, Jimmy Ward's absence is real, and you know, when Okuda comes back, they'll be even better. But Aziz Al-Shaair is such a perfect spy linebacker. He's a big reason, too, why their pass defense is being so good, even though he's a linebacker. And I just, you know, now, Kalen Bullock, we expect him to play. He's got the injured shoulder, so he's important with Jimmy Ward out. I hear what you're saying. I'm not afraid of fading the Texans here at all. Top MF in here also agreeing with that. Billy Friedrich in the house. Holmgren here at plus 1,300. For our guy, Billy Friedrich. Let's get this all copied and pasted. Billy, it is great to see you, my man. We do have a big Halloween live stream tonight, hosted by Jose Bouquet. I will not be there on Thursday for the live stream tonight. We'll be with the kids and Halloween. And then also the workload with the Breeders' Cup here is immense. We are still doing our Friday morning betting with the bag show, but, you know, last night, had to make sure that I did the NFL Pub Hub records. Very interesting NFL Pub Hub records, by the way, which should be talked about here. Extremely interesting NFL Pub Hub records. Our new leader, for the first time on top of the leaderboard, it's his 4th season. He's rocked with us every year. LJ from H-Town, 23-12, plus 11.51 units. Right behind him, his partner in the Raw Words podcast, Marley at 20-9 plus 10.31 units. And then now number 3, our season 2 champion and our guest today, Bobano, coming off an 8-2 plus 5.84 unit spot. He's plus 5.53 units. Spenny fourth at plus 3.85, and Birdie fifth at plus 3.76. And then Guillermo 2-0 plus 2.36 units in sixth. Sweaty Butcher in seventh. JT in eighth. Ramon in ninth. So I did all the records last night and the invites so that I wouldn't need to worry about it on Saturday because we're going to be full steam ahead with the horses. Jake Burns says Clippers cost me a bag. There's some bums, and Harden will turn the ball over when it matters most. I'm interested in maybe going back to them today. We'll talk about it. Top set in the house says Bulls cost me a big night. Just stop scoring in the fourth quarter. I don't like hearing that. Jay Peasy, Jim Dewigger, Chase J in the house is also happy fourth straight Jet spot. While families hand out candy books, we'll hand out Jets money line for our cappers to dive back into some Aaron Rodgers delusion. Very possible, Chase J. We could very, very possibly lose here. Very possible. And the Jets continue to cost us money, and you're absolutely right. And there's a lot of us going back to the well. Donut Silk says, honestly, think the Houston team's overrated, but the Jets are a complete joke. Hugh Janus in the house. Dougie Wise moving on Utah Jazz -2. Let's get this action here. And Mike Wilkerson on Luka over 8.5 rebounds. Let's make sure we have it because just 13 games for us to break down. And I like these days. I really do. Now, I want volume and action and all that, but I like when we can really take our time and beat these games up. Mike Wilkerson on Luka over 8.5. Oh, that was from here in the Rockets Mavericks game. Sorry, what am I thinking? Sorry, tripping there for a second. We got Joey Marinaccio, the dapper capper, nasty Nate, ready to go. Turnsey is on the Habs money line. So am I. Wager Detective says Penguins tonight. Look, I think they're just a fade. I think they're an absolute fade all year long. And now you take Rust off the ice. So I have to fade them again. And I've not been fading them enough because situationally, Wager Detective, they've been in really good spots and they don't win because they're old and slow and soft. And they're managed by a fanboy and Dubas. Like it's a bad situation here. Chase J loving a Joe Mixon TD and a Tank Dell TD. Billy Friedrich says the Texans win tonight. Guillermo Zertucci in the house. There he is right now. Big weekend ahead of us for us, because of the Breeders, but an even bigger weekend in the Zertucci household because Eli back and he's about to be fully deployed. I'm going to go off on a ship for a long time, and he's back with the family for this weekend. So it's a wonderful, wonderful weekend in the Zertucci household, and it's just richly deserved. You've built such a great home. It's such a great family, and you see it. You see it with what your kids are doing, Eli and Esteban, whom we're both very close. We love so much. So we have Rem Most 42.5, very heavy juice to the over. Yeah, it's moving in the wrong direction. Makes me extremely uncomfortable. Billy Friedrich here. And Chase J says they have some studs at wide receiver still. Is Mechie a stud to you? Maybe we have a different idea of what a wide receiver stud is because I think Mechie is going to struggle. He's not number 2. I don't think. We'll see. There is old E, literally in a kayak in the ocean, paddling next to a hunt spot. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, Alex Ramirez. Play today for Clark Edge is the under 53.5 in Syracuse, Virginia Tech. I will definitely copy and paste that as I've not moved on any college football action this weekend. I may not, depending on how things go tomorrow. Then we have Nordy in the house. Says, what time does Breeders' Start show tomorrow? The Breeders' Cup show tomorrow starts a little later. Starts at 5:30 p.m. just before the first Breeders' Cup race. There's just not enough time in the day, and I still wanted to do betting with. I'm only doing betting with the bag 2 days a week right now. It's not enough. It's just a couple months longer of this, but it's not enough, and I just didn't want to miss a show. So it's not a full day of horse racing tomorrow. Saturday, it's a full day, all night. So there we go. Chase J says, Billy, expensive price on our Canes tonight. You riding with it still? I am fading the Canes. Wine Time Sports, Jets money line at -130 for him. I get it. Alex Ramirez on the Jets and the under teased. Jim Dewey will be on the under. I like hearing that. There is our guy, Big Mastro says, sick and working from home next week. That means you get the cap with us all week, which I love to hear. So great to see y'all. And Billy Friedrich says, fading the Canes tonight. Or staying off, he says first game back at home after the extended road trip, usually a fade spot for the team returning home. I agree, and I'm doing it and risking it. So we'll see how that all bangs down. Okay, so let's get to work here. Oh, God. Jake, you know what? I can't speak on whether there will be an individual college basketball show at this point, Jake. I can't speak on that. I can promise you that it'll be capped here on our show. with great NCAA basketball experts. So I can promise that, but I don't know here. Sweaty Butcher says, unfortunately, here in the States, it's Halloween. Well, it's the same here in Canada, Sweaty Butcher. Same here in Canada. I say all over the world, Sweaty Butcher. Not sure how much time I have tonight. Respect, Sweaty Butcher, you're the man. No pressure there. Billy Friedrich, and okay, let me just get a little bit more copy and pasting, and then let's get to work. Billy Friedrich, the pig milk play of the day is in. I like the look of that under a lot, Billy. These short week and Tulane on back-to-back weeks of travel. I really like that. Skunt Blaster in the house, giving a shout out to Fanatics. Get your withdrawal instantly. I love hearing that. So it's great to see all you guys. Bon Polo on the Jets money line. Oh God! So of course, why was I tripping when Wine Time was on the Jets money line? I was thinking hockey. God, I'm just tripping, man. This is one of the toughest weeks of the year for me work wise, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it, but it's a lot. It's a lot, and these huge races here, it's filled with the most talented horses in the world, and that makes it take even longer, really, to bang out. My guy Skunt Blaster in the house. Great to see all you guys. Bobano going to be a little bit late here, so let's just get right to work. Again, I am producing the show, so if I fall behind on any of the NHL logo or any of the graphics beneath, because I know it really helps people skip and move ahead when they're watching the replay, please let me know. All right, let's get to work here. Seattle Kraken at the Toronto Maple Leafs. I have 6 bets on this board. I'm hammering it tonight. I will get in trouble for being on my phone during Halloween, and I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared to get yelled at. Sometimes you got a lot of money on the line. You're going to check out the score once in a while. I'm ready to be yelled at, and I'm going to deal with that. Von Polo says, my son's birthday is Saturday, born on Breeders' Cup Day 5 years ago. Oh, that's so dope. Oh, a little thoroughbred capper right there, Von Polo VP, my man. That's so dope. I'm going to copy and paste that here so I can remember that, Von Polo. Happy birthday to your boy and your great family. I love that. Okay, let's get to work here right now in this one. Now, the market's been going against me on quite a few spots, and I've decided to take a bit of a step back on totals, although there is still one that I like here tonight. But my first instinct with Kraken at Leafs, Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, the first thing I think about is, the Leafs coming off beating the Jets. The market was very indicative of what was going to happen in that game because the Jets were 8-0 against the Leafs that were 4-4-1, and the Leafs were just the tiniest of dogs. Nasty Nate says, my son turned 19 yesterday, and what a great kid he is as well. Nasty Nate, you've done such a great job raising him. It's living vicariously through the Rhode Island basketball star, and now he's in college, man. You've done a great job, buddy. Great job. Oh, man, beautiful. Gavin Henry in the house. Gavin, I've missed you, man. Gavin Henry in the house. He is a thoroughbred trainer in Jamaica. The beautiful horse track down there. Let me copy and paste that. Yes, we'll be live Friday and Saturday, Gavin, and we need you. Great to see you, Gavin. My dream is a low bag Summit of Champions at your horse track in Jamaica. That is a dream of mine that I gotta have come to fruition at one point. Got to. But let's get back to this one. So my first thought was goals. Of course, it's my first thought, right? Seattle just puts up 8 in Montreal in their first game of this road trip. They know what it's like playing in the center of the hockey universe, which Toronto claims it is. We're in Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. The Leafs are just 3-2-0 at home. Joseph Walls looked very bad. I've got Wall versus Joy Decord. If you guys can give me some information, Wall confirmed in net. Beautiful. Thank you. Anybody who, if I say any of these goaltenders wrong, I'm sure Bobano will help me when he's on here. But oh, that's not Jose. That's me. Thank you. See, that's what I need. Kelly. I'm producing the show on my own, so I need that right there. Thank you. I don't know how I screwed that up. Why does he have Boston first up? But that's fine. Okay. So let's roll on here. Goran says, great to be on the side with JB and Wine Time Sports. Yeah, Gorky, the 3 of us ride together. I like that. It does give me confidence. But let's go back to Scotia Arena in Toronto, Ontario. Decord's been good this year. 4-1-1, 2.80 goals against average, 914 save percentage. He's a journeyman goaltender. He's earned every opportunity he's been given, and he's easy to cheer for. Joseph Walls just played in one game. Just one game here. Cameron Sinnott, my man, it is great to see you. Thank you for the $9.99 dono. Gorky for the $2 dono. Thank you guys for supporting the show. Cameron, my man. Only one bet for me this week. Argonauts double result. Argonauts double result. I'm in absolute business, though. Up double-digit units, up double-digit ROI in CFL in a very simple situation here. I will bet the Argos to take out the Alouettes next week. If they have to get back past the Red Blacks first, I will then go for a middle on whoever wins with the Rough Riders lines. I expect it to be the Rough Riders. I will go for a middle against Winnipeg because I've got $500 on the Bombers plus 250 to reach the Grey Cup. Very simple stuff here. Basically, the season's kind of over for heavy action. Thank you, Cameron, my man. JW says we can still blame Jose, though. You're absolutely right. You can still blame Jose. Okay, so let's get into the line history here and hammer this one out. So my first thought, of course, was goals. And the line was moving heavily to the under. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm wrong here. And these are the totals. Totals aren't something that I have too much confidence in early in the season, and in my ROI with totals right now is not being very good. So I was surprised with what I saw. Let's get into the money line here first. We have two teams coming off huge wins. Neither of those spots appeal to me. The Toronto opening up at minus 200. They're now a minus 184. And when we get to the totals here in this one, we have a 6. Well, it's 6.5 again. So it's opened up at 6.5. It started getting juiced to the under immediately at 2:22 p.m. yesterday. So that it took an hour to go from 6.5 to 6. It goes down to 6. The under, the over is juiced, but the under becomes a minus 101 proposition. Then it gets back to 6.5 at 1:30 this morning. Then at 10:30 this morning, it drops down to 6 again. We've had 6 cents of movement to the under. Is Wall going to stand on his head? This is something that, really. Okay, thanks, Chase J. I'll copy and paste that. It's just uncomfortable. That's all. Billy Friedrich loving the team total over 3.5. Yeah, Billy, that makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense to me. I copied and pasted that, Chase J. Thank you. Toronto's power play is 9.4%. 9.4. That's it. Penalty killing 80.5%. Seattle has a 21.9% power play, 80% penalty killing. Kraken snapped their 3-game losing streak with an 8-2 victory at Montreal on Tuesday night. This is game 2 of a 5-game trip. Jared McCann's been excellent to start the season. What a monster he is. 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points. He's a +7 in 10 games. He's just a quality hockey player. Quality forward, accountable defensively, has a rifle on the power play. He's just very good. Brandon Montour has proven to be a strong addition, as we expected. He leads the team in shots with 33s, 9 clear of second place. And ice time at 23 minutes and 41 seconds. And he's been extremely important with Vince Dunn out of the lineup with the upper body injury. They hope to have Dunn back in 2 weeks. Toronto snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 6-4 win over previously unbeaten Winnipeg on Monday night. Mitch Marner leads the team with 11 points. But listen to this, and this is interesting. He also leads the team in ice time at 21:41. It is very rare for a forward to lead their team in ice time, especially a winger. I don't remember a winger ever leading his team in ice time. Centers I've seen do it on the rare occasion, but a winger here, it's strange. 2 seconds behind Mitch Marner is Oliver Ekman-Larsson. If you think that you can succeed as a hockey team with Oliver Ekman-Larsson playing almost 22 minutes a game, you are sorely mistaken. This guy is not equipped for that. Last year, when they won the Cup of Florida, he played 18-23 a game. He's soft, charming, soft, and it's just shocking that this Maple Leafs brass thinks that he can do this. Kelly Arncroft will be out for at least another month with a lower body injury. He's important as well. Andrew G says that the Kraken jerseys are fire. They are dope. And Jake Flanagan. Okay, let me copy and paste a couple things here. So I got Billy's team total. And, I wanted Ron Lofton's. He knows this Suns team inside and out from Arizona. Let me just get his NBA stuff copied and pasted here for that. The Suns game here, Suns Clippers, that's locked and loaded. Dabby Cab in the house. Oh, I love it. BJ on the Jets money line for 5 units. That another more confidence, just helping us with more confidence here in this one. So let me get this here, copied and pasted right above Justin McKelvey's action. And DC Capper NHL Play Day coming up. I love it because I've hammered this board, DC. So again, I'm off of this spot. I lean over. I've been focused on beating these line moves and getting in a day early, and it's cost me in certain situations. And I want to focus on situational capping, with a team coming off of a loss or a need to step up. And it's just neither here, and I'm off. And I've got a ton of action on this card. In fact, it's the first 2 games I have no action on, and then all the rest of the 5 I'm moving on. So we will roll on to our next game here. So let's roll. Next up for us is the St. Louis Blues and the Philadelphia Flyers. Blues 5-5, 3-3 on the road. Philadelphia Flyers 3-6-1, 1-3-0 at home. The market move towards Ottawa was enormous, absolutely enormous. And Urson confirmed. I have Urson here listed: 3-2-1, 3 goals against average, 96%, 1 shutout. The market move towards now. Ottawa was coming back from a road trip. It's one of those spots that even Billy Friedrich talking about fading the Hurricanes in that situation was the same idea for me. I wanted to fade Ottawa coming back, but I said that St. Louis is going to start slipping. They had that one great game against Toronto after losing Robert Thomas, and it was just going to be that one game that went well, and then they lose to Montreal, and they got destroyed by Ottawa. So they've been outscored 13-3 over their last 2 games, and that's just not something that's going to be. The Bannister is not going to sit back and allow this team just to not play strong defensively, not finish their checks, and play like little bitches, which is what they've played like. Binnington is in net 2-4, 3.12 goals against average, 895 save percentage. Let's get into the line history here for the Blues Flyers game. This total is at 6. It's minus 118 to the under. I did get to 5.5 for a cup of coffee here right before the show started, but it's back at 6. We still have 11 cents of movement towards the under. On the money line here, we have the Blues at plus 135. So there's been a big move towards the Flyers from minus 135 to minus 150. And maybe that's enough for us, honestly. Yes, we go straight from NHL to NFL. Anybody who ever wants to know the schedule, they can always just go to the video description. The schedule is up before every show, always. So Fernando Mendoza looking at the over 5.5. Maybe we should just kick the Blues while they're down. But I really have a hesitancy towards that. I really do. And I I fear challenging a team like the Blues, when they know they got to dig in. They know this is the final game of a 4-game road trip. Philip Broberg has been incredible. What a steal, the Blues getting Broberg and Holloway for nothing. Those were the best 2 draft picks of the old regime. And you put all this investment and time into them. Eyeball 509, thinking about the Blues money line. Nick Leddy could come back tonight from his lower body injury. He's missed the last 3 games, and they use him as a top 4 defenseman. But Broberg's been a monster at plus 5. And Robert Thomas is going to be out for another month. So the Flyers coming off their second win in 3 games, 2-0 at Boston on Tuesday. So that was a spot where I bet the night before at plus 170. It closes at plus 135, and they win 2-0. Unfortunately, the other 3 spots lost for me that night. So I, still end up down 1.3 units, which was very disappointing. Matvei Michkov has been very good. 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points in 10 games. He's a -5, though, and 6 of his points have come on the power play, but he's reinvigorated this power play. Morgan Frost is not going to have a job in the NHL soon if he doesn't step up. Tortorella is not somebody with patience. 0 goals, 5 assists in 10 games, and he's a -11. Jamie Drysdale's a -9 through 10 games, and Cam York out of the lineup with an upper body injury. So I want to bet the Flyers as much as possible. And the times when I have not bet them is just situational. And here it is. It's situational again. Nutflesh says, will Philly actually shoot the puck at the net? That's sort of an angle that I would need to study more before I can just give a offhanded answer to that. But I tell you what, I want to bet Philly as much as possible. But I'm not going to bet them after a huge, huge victory. Even though I want to bet them, they probably take care of business. But the Blues get losing 13-3 over their last 2 losses. We've seen what they can do when they all, fight together. They beat the Leafs 5-1 in Toronto. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to stay off of here. Textile says Philly isn't good. Maybe they can make something tonight. Am I right? I disagree completely. In fact, maybe I should put my money where my mouth is. In fact, I think they can make the playoffs, which I'm sure is going to be a huge payout right now, especially after this 3-6 start. Philadelphia right now to make the playoffs. Where the hell is it? Plus 425. Wow. You know what? I've been watching this team closely, and I hate Tortorella, and I historically don't like the Flyers, but I think the Flyers to make the playoffs, and they're over the win total now, is something I'd be very interested. I think they're a bet-on hockey team. But again, you can't fade. I'm not going to fade the Blues after being outscored 13-3 in 2 games and closing up their road trip. This is such an easy coaching angle here. So Flyers to make the playoffs and over win total I'm going to look at today. But these are the only 2 games I have not bet. These are the only 2 games. So let's bring on our star of Thursday action here on Betting with the Bag and hear if he's moving on these 2 games. Shout out to Birdie in the house. We'll be getting into NFL right after NHL. So let's welcome our friend from Canada's Black and Yellow Steel Town, Hamilton, Ontario. Please welcome Mr. Ian Cameron to the show. Ian, how are you?
I got my Halloween orange on, so don't tell me I don't care about Halloween, but good to be with you, Jimmy.
It is good to be with you, my friend. All right, we've capped 2 games that I haven't moved on. So let's hear your action very quickly on them. We'll go back to this Kraken Leaf spot. Both teams coming off massive victories is a tricky cap. And then I wanted the over, and seeing it move towards the under was confusing. And I love this card. I love today's card. I've got 6 bets on 5 games. And I'm passed. What's your plan for Kraken Maple Leafs?
Yeah, I don't have a strong feel here. Toronto wants to put 2 good games in a row together. It was a great win for them against Winnipeg and in the Jets, their first loss of the season. It was a great effort. They were done. Don't be fooled by the 6-4 score. If they don't get in penalty trouble for most, and they were in penalty trouble most of that game, and Craig Berube wants them to fix that. They're still taking too many penalties, and the jet power play got going, kept them in the game. But at 5-on-5 even strength, they were dominant over Winnipeg. They were much the better team. It was a great win, great bounce back after losing 3 in a row there like they did. Seattle starting the road trip with a bang, 8-2 win against Montreal. They're 3-1 on the road. They've been a good road team. But I think there's an onus there. We don't want to just be satisfied beating Winnipeg. We got to try to string good performances, try to string wins together here. As a team. We'll see if they're able to do that. Toronto won 4-3 in a shootout last year against the Seattle Kraken. I do kind of lean to the draw here. I've been not making it official, though. I don't like it as much as some of the draw bets. But Toronto's won 3 straight over the Seattle Kraken. As far as the goaltending situation here tonight in this game, probably likely going to see Anthony Stolarz again for the Leafs. No, it's Joe Woll. I beg your pardon. Wall's confirmed. Okay. Yeah. That does not. Now I can start to see maybe why you're looking at an over a little bit. I had some concerns about what I saw from Woll that first start back. Grubauer for the Kraken. Let me just see what the total is. Oh, there's a couple 6s out there. Yeah, let's go over, Jim. Let's go over this. I like it. With Woll in net, I think there's still it's going to take him some time to feel that great form again for the Leafs. And there's some big-time pressure on him with how well Stolarz has played in his absence. So let's go with that over. Over 6 minus 124 at Bet Rivers. Seattle, Toronto.
You are locked. Bobano over 6 at minus 124 at Bet Rivers. We'll move on to the Blues Phillies Flyers spot. Bobano, it's just you and I today. We don't have Jose producing, so I'm going to try to get the graphics, have everything together. I think I've watched every Philadelphia Flyer game this year. And I hate Tortorella, and I historically don't like the team. I think this is a really good team, possibly. We know they have the most first-round draft picks of any team in the NHL. Drysdale's a -9. Morgan Frost is a -11. I mean, these guys haven't fired, but I was all over. I got them plus 170 to beat the Bruins. It closed to plus 135. I really like them, but we know what happens when a hockey team has been outscored 13-3 and it's their last game of the road trip. Bannister is just not going to. it's going to be a serious dressing room before this hockey game. They better step up, and I just don't feel comfortable fading them in this situation. I am going to bet that over 81.5 points for the Flyers at even money after the show, and I'm also going to bet them to make the playoffs, because if they don't make the playoffs, I'm still going to cash that 81.5, and I think that 425 to make the playoffs is a free roll, because this is a team in the second half of the year that I think is going to be real good. But it's going to take some time. But take it away, Bobano. Are you moving on this one?
Yeah, I was on the Flyers against the Bruins, and it was all about, Boston. I don't like them in that price range. And there's a few teams as far as favorites on this card where it's just I don't trust them in the price ranges they're in. And that's why I'm going against them. And that's what I felt with Boston. They were just too big a favorite. Philly with Ersson in net is better. Certainly better goaltending than what Fedotov and Kolosov were giving them. They're not ready for the NHL right now, either of those guys. And Ersson was phenomenal. He's the reason they beat Boston. I actually think Boston played a pretty good game. They outchanced Philadelphia. They had the better of the play, but Ersson was outstanding in that game for the Flyers. Preserved the shutout win 2-0. But the Flyers were a nice, healthy underdog in that game. But now they're back to the price range here where I don't like Philly when they're laying this kind of a number. We've seen them multiple times this year as bigger favorites struggle. We've seen them favored. Well, put it this way. You want to know how untrustworthy Philly is in this price range? They've only been favored twice this year. They've lost both games. 4-1 at home to Washington as a minus 135 favorite. 4-3 to Montreal as a minus 175 favorite. So they're 0-2 as favorites. The Blues are off a blowout loss. You would expect focus. You would expect intensity, especially with this being the final game of a road trip. Nobody's going to be. I'm questioning now how good the Blues are. That is the one thing that concerns me. But when you lose 8-1 like they did to Ottawa, there's got to be a response. Philly's just not good enough or consistent enough, in my opinion, to be in this price range. So I am on St. Louis here. I'm taking them plus 140, bet 365.
I completely get it. I'm not going to do it myself, but I completely get it. Blues at plus 140 here for Bobano. Very quickly, Turnsey, we're going to be getting into that game right after this. And Turnsey saying, are the Jets overly public? It is the other way. The Texans have 88% of the tickets at plus 2.5 and 89%
That's a
of
fun
the cash. I can't wait.
Stay away. Can't touch it with a 10-foot pole for me, but we'll talk about it.
Oh, I'm going to drop my balls in the mouth of that football game. And then we have 44% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on the Jets money line. So big bets have come in on the Jets money line.
And look, Thursday nights have been good to me in the NFL, but this game just I can't wrap my head around it. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And DC Capper top play in NHL is a spot we're going head to head in. I can understand anybody fading the Sharks, but I kind of like what I've been seeing, honestly, from them. And we'll get into that game last, but I've copied and pasted DC, and we will go through that. Pipe layer in the house. So let's roll here into the next spot on the board. The Anaheim Ducks are a really good hockey team, and they're not maybe going to be this year.
Still give up a few too many shots for my liking, but
think about this, Bobano. Yeah. McTavish and Cutter Gauthier haven't scored a goal this season. Trevor Zegras might not be the player that and they're winning hockey games. So look, this isn't a team that's going to win now, but if you are a fan of the Ducks, you're going to have, with Carlson, the second overput, with some of these stars, you're going to have a very good hockey team on your hand in a couple of years. And they're being coached very well right now. So, thank you. Thank you for the graphic update. Sorry, here we go. So you're right. Maybe I said that wrong, that the Ducks are as a fan, for anyone who's a fan of them, you are in business. Lucas Dostal looks like the real deal here. 4-2-1, 2 goals against average, .943 save percentage, 1 shutout. Going up against Nedeljkovic, who is very questionable. We knew immediately. Now let me know if these are not confirmed, but Nedeljkovic, of course, was, ditched, after such a great year by Rod Brindamore-led hockey team when he was a finalist for the Vest. I mean, that told you everything you need to know about what's going on upstairs with Needles Nedeljkovic. Let's get into the line history of this one. And I said, over and over on this show, that you fade the Penguins as much as possible. Got to fade the Penguins as much as possible. And then there have been these situations that have led me to not just situational where I'm like, this is a great spot for Pittsburgh. Oh, this is a great spot for Pittsburgh. And so I don't fade them. And they've lost 6 straight games, and I'm tired of it. And I could easily be, late to the party and early to the funeral on this one. The Ducks open up at plus 163. They're now plus 158. And when we get to the totals here in this one, we have a 6.5. This opened up at 6.5. Plus money to the over, plus 103 is now minus 102. So we've still had 5 cents of movement to the under, or to the over, excuse me. And you can get this at 6. You don't need to mess around with the 6.5 here. Anaheim power play at 13.8%. I hear you, DC Capper. I know that you don't need to repeat it. It's your play today. I expect you think it's going to win. Anaheim power play at 13.8%, penalty killing at 75%. Pittsburgh power play at 22.6%, penalty killing at 84.9%. Wager Detective says Penguins win, and they might. But how in the world do you not move at this price to fade the Pittsburgh Penguins? Anaheim snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 3-1 win at the Islanders on Tuesday night. Final game of a tough 4-game trip. I just talked about McTavish and Cutter not delivering, but they're playing so much more defensively responsible this year than I expected with so many young players. I've been very, very impressed. Again, Zegras, he may not succeed in the league. He plays a little bit intimidated at times. He's got so much skill. 1 goal and 1 assist and a -4 through 9 games. Pittsburgh comes in off their 6th straight loss, 5-3 at home versus the Wild. Marc-André Fleury's last career visit to Pittsburgh. Sid the Kid's a -6 through 11 games. Erik Karlsson's a -7. Chris Letang is a -8. And then, and I wasn't going to move on it. But then Brian Rust with a lower body injury. You take their toughness, their truculence, a guy who makes the Crosby line tick if he's on that line, or he makes the Malkin line tick if he's on that line. You take him off the ice. Yeah. I'll fade you, and I'll fade you, and I'll fade you, and I'll fade you. I'm going to stop caring if it's a good situational spot for the Penguins. I'm just going to fade them. Take it away for us here, Bobano, Ducks, Penguins.
Yeah, everything you said, I reiterate it. For me, this is ridiculous to be interested in Pittsburgh at this kind of a price right now. They're not playing a lick of defense. They've had Crosby speak out about it. They've had meetings about it, and it hasn't helped. They are just personnel. This is a personnel issue. They don't have good defenders. Karlsson's not a good defender. Letang's not a good defender anymore. They've got a lot of youth, too, on the blue line, and they're just lost in their own zone half the time, hanging their goalies out to dry. I don't even fully blame Blomqvist or Jari or Nedeljkovic for any of this. That blue line's just hideous right now. And I cashed with the Ducks against the Islanders. Nice. And Lukas Dostal is leading this league right now in save percentage and goals saved above average. I'm hoping he's in net tonight. I would expect him to be because the Ducks don't play on Friday, and he's been awesome. So I think Anaheim's absolutely live in this game, and it's just more so Pittsburgh's got no business in this price range, at least not to me. So I like Anaheim here, plus 165 at PointsBet. We'll lock that in. I'm also going to go Ducks team total over 2.5. minus 135. You're going to give me a 2.5 for an opponent team total against Pittsburgh right now? I'm not passing that up. So Anaheim team total over 2.5 minus 135. I don't like this one as much, but I also am on the full game over 6 minus 125 in this game because Pittsburgh's been an over machine. My concern is Dostal plays well, but I think Penguins are going to be a little bit more of a challenge for him than the Islanders were, who are struggling suddenly to score goals. We saw them get shut out by Columbus last night. So 3 bets here. Ducks money line, Ducks team total over, full game over.
I want the Ducks team total over with you, and I will bet it as soon as we start talking about football, and then I can just send it in. So I'm going to join you on that one. We roll on. Next up for us is Montreal Canadiens, 4-5-1, 1-1-1 on the road at Washington Capitals, 6-2-0, 4-1-0 at home. And wow, Primo is confirmed in net. I wanted Montembeault to go back in. It's too late. It's too late, but I imagine that this market's going to. Okay, so let's just see what's going on with this market now. This total is at 6.5. It moved to 6.5 with this announcement. It just moved about 45 minutes ago. And then on the money line here, we have now the Habs at plus 180. God damn. Now, what did I get them at? Plus 175. Okay, nothing to worry about. Okay, I thought that. Okay, so look, I might be wrong about the Capitals. I might be wrong. I do not believe they're nearly as good as their record indicates, but they're playing good hockey. I can't take that away from them. Now, we got two Toronto boys that are leading the entire charge, Dylan Strome and Connor McMichael. Strome, I mean, we've waited a long time for Strome. We've waited a lot. This NHL has been very patient with this kid. He was the 3rd overall pick in 2015, traded a bunch of different teams. We went to the Blackhawks after the Coyotes. 3 goals, 8 assists, 11 points in 8 games, plus 6. And then 2019, first-round pick from Mississauga, just 20 minutes away. Connor McMichael's been very, very good. 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points in 8 games. And he's a plus 8. So I could be just wrong. And it's those two guys. Of course, it's not Dubois or Ovechkin, even though Ovechkin coming off a great game. So I could be wrong, but I'm going to keep fading them. They're doing this all on 5-on-5 too, which is perplexing. And again, maybe I'm just wrong, but I'm going to bet against it. So we have Charlie Lindgren going up against Primo. Can you give us the Caden Primo breakdown? I don't have this up. Charlie Lindgren, 2-2-0, 2.52 goals against, 78.95 save percentage. He's a decent backup. Montreal power play, 22.9%, penalty killing, 83.8%. Montreal comes in off having their 2-game winning streak snapped in an ugly 8-2 loss at home versus the Kraken. Montembeau 5 goals on 10 shots. I wanted him to bounce back. Elaine Hudson is leading the team with 23 minutes and 11 seconds a game. Now, I know he's going to be a monster. We all know he's going to be a monster. He's going to be a hell of a player. But we're asking so much of a 20-year-old who, don't forget, was picked 62nd overall. I mean, you could say it's a bit of a late bloomer. So I know that they're planning not for this year, but for next year and the year after that, and that's why they're giving Hudson all this opportunity. Kirby Dach has been an atrocity through 10 games, minus 12 with a 4.5 shooting percentage. He better do something coming back from this injury, or he'll be sent down to the minors. The Capitals have opened up 6-2. They come off defeating the Rangers 5-3 at home on Tuesday. And, I'm either dead wrong about this hockey team or this is an aberration, and I expect it to be an aberration. Another thing about the Habs is that Justin Barron is expected to be back in the lineup. He missed 3 games. He's got a goal, 13 hits, 8 blocks across 7 games. A good young defenseman. And Caden Gooley is traveling with the team, and he could play tonight. He's been out since October 17th. And he was playing 21 minutes and 45 seconds a game. This is a 2020 first-round draft pick. This is a really, really good young hockey player. And they slipped when he got hurt. And if Barron and Caden are both in, then the market might not know how improved the Habs are going to be. In saying that, I'm going to fade the Capitals at this price as much as I possibly can and deal with the consequences. And the consequences have been bad. Oh, and Chikrin out for the Caps. I did not have that in my cap. Thank you, Billy Friedrich. That's important.
Yeah, he left the Ranger game. With injury. He's out. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's important. Take it away, Bobano. Habs, Capitals.
So I have been higher on Washington than you. I've mentioned that I think I think it's all coaching. I think Carberry's phenomenal. I think he's just an outstanding coach. How he got them into the playoffs last year, I'll never know. But it's because I think he can coach the hell out of this team and get the absolute most he can out of every individual. And I think he's done that. And I've been on the Capitals a bunch, as you know, on this show. And I took him against the Rangers because I thought the other night, that's obviously playoff revenge was part of it for the Capitals. But I liked, and they were off a shutout loss to Tampa. So I liked that angle of it. And I thought they'd play a really good game and maybe catch the Rangers, and they did. They pounced early. They got those early goals, and certainly they rode it out, and they got the nice win, and they made Shesterkin look human in that game. Very solid. 2 goals early from Ovechkin, and I like Washington. I'm high on them, but man, this feels like a great sell high spot tonight on this Washington team. I mean, minus 210 now, and I like Washington, but minus 210. I mean, that's getting up there. For this team. And even though they're 6-2, and then you've got to factor in that it's not just Montreal off the loss to Seattle. That was embarrassing, losing like that to the Kraken on home ice 8-2. Marty St. Louis does have a good track record off blowout losses, bouncing back, as Rod Zawacki says in the chat. That was a good stat, 10-3 off a multiple goal loss. Just look at earlier this year. You want your one example of Montreal off a brutal game, their worst game. They got embarrassed 7-2 by the New York Rangers 9 days ago. And they bounced back. They beat St. Louis 5-2 in the next game. So Montreal's got it in them. They're getting healthier on the blue line. You're right about that. Caden Gooley. Meanwhile, Chikrin's out for Washington, so they're going to have to put in another defenseman there, shake up the pairings a little bit. Maybe that knocks them off chemistry a little bit. Washington in this game. There are a lot of reasons here, especially with the price being where it is, to like Montreal, in my opinion. And I'm not a big Primo fan. I'm not. He's not had a great season, but he is coming off his first win as a starter this season against Philadelphia. He was in net that night, Sunday. They got the 4-3 win. That's got to be a confidence builder for Caden Primo in this game. And even though I've been on the Capitals a few times, more than a few, I just think this spot, the situation, and more so this price is a good one here to step in with Montreal off an embarrassment. And you would think effort's going to be there. And they actually won in Washington last year, the last time they went to the D.C. and the nation's capital. The Habs got the victory. So I will join you with Montreal here, plus 185 at PointsBet.
Oh, that's a nice line, plus 185. I'm right with you. One of the reasons why I push the Undoing Project so much is you're not supposed to believe what you've just seen. And maybe it takes capping thoroughbreds your whole life. Certain races, certain games set up a certain way, and it doesn't mean you're going to see it again in the next race or the next game. Yeah. And I can understand anyone who watched the Habs lose 8-2 would be like, this is a trash hockey team. Anyone who saw the Blues lose 13-3 over the last 2 games, this is a trash hockey team. But it just doesn't work like that. And again, we're not telling you to get off of your action when you're on
the prices are scrumptious with St. Louis and Montreal, both off blowout losses. And I don't need to go 2-0. Give me 1-1. Give me a split. I'm happy. I'm profit.
Yeah, no, I'm not on the Blues with you, but I've got dogs coming shortly. All right, let's roll on. Next up for us, Boston Bruins at Carolina Hurricanes, Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. Billy Friedrich says Freddie Anderson has a lower body injury and is week to week. Kochetkov in net tonight. Unofficial stick drop for a stick drop count for Kochetkov is 6 and 4 starts. So this is a first this year for me. Actually, it's not. I've been on the Bruins once this year. I'm on the Bruins. This is the first time I'm fading the Hurricanes this year. It's not something I want to do. And I also moved on the under 6. I have the Bruins at plus 157 and the under 6 at minus 115. Let's get into the line history here in this one. The Bruins right now are plus 159. Not winning these market moves. Don't like that. The total in this one right now is 6 at just minus 108 to the under. You know, this moved to 5.5 for a long period of time. And, you know, I could understand. I'm a little I'm very nervous seeing this move to the over. And maybe I'm putting too much into Swayman. But now he's got 7 games under his belt. He's in a hugely contested spot here against the Hurricanes. We know how good the Hurricanes are. It's time to step up. It is time to step up, and I need him to step up here badly. Boston power play at 14.3%, penalty killing at 80%. Carolina power play 23.1%, penalty killing at 86.7%. Bruins coming off their 4th loss in 5 games, 2-0 at home to the Flyers. You heard from Bobano because I couldn't watch the game. We were doing NFL NFL Bankroll Blitz on Tuesday night. I didn't watch the game, so I was following it very closely because, oh good God, you got a plus 170 on the line. You're going to be following it closely. But you know, as Bobano alluded to, that he says the Bruins outplayed the Flyers in that spot, and it's Urson who is the one that stepped up. But the Bruins have scored 7 goals over their past 5 games, and a lot of talk up here is that Brad Marchand is playing himself off of Team Canada in the Four Nations Cup this year. Now, you want to give a guy like Marchand the benefit of the doubt, but 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points, minus 6 through 10 games is not good enough. How about Cole Koepke? What a revelation this kid is. Through 10 games, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. He's a plus 10 through 10 games. This guy only played 26 games in the NHL before this season. I love guys who fight and fight and fight. 6th-round pick. You go through the DB on 6th-round picks. How many of them get to play a game in the NHL? 5%? Good job, Koepke. Hurricanes coming off their 4th straight win, 4-3 in overtime at Vancouver on Monday night. That was the final game of an very impressive 5-game road trip. Starts with a loss, then they win 4 straight. Now they come home, have to deal with all that happens when you come home from a road trip. Now, I know that was on Monday night. They flew back on Tuesday, so they've been back home for 48 hours. But this is a Bruins team that needs to win and needs to win now. Swayman needs to step up. He needs to step up now. Marchand needs to step up. He's got to step up. There's just so much on the line for the Bruins, and I don't see anything on the line for the 6-2 Hurricanes. I'm on. Oh, thank you guys. Sorry about that. Sorry, getting a little caught up in all this. I'm on the Boston Bruins and the under 6. Take it away, Bobano, my man.
So I actually think I like this spot a little for Boston as well. I mean, Carolina, 4 straight wins to end that 6-game road trip. First game home off that long roadie. That's usually a negative spot. And Boston's actually played them tough. Boston won 4-1 in Carolina last April. They won 4-3 in a shootout in Carolina the year before that in March. They've actually played very well in this building the last couple times they've been here. They're going to have to hope that happens again here in this game. I just don't like Carolina off a great road trip. 4 wins, 5-1 on that road trip, 4 straight wins, a big overtime win against Vancouver. They gutted it out, beat the Canucks in overtime when they blew that third period lead. They still came back and they won in overtime against Vancouver there. And now that first game home, and they haven't been home since October the 15th. So this is over 2 weeks they've been on the road, this Carolina team. So this is not a bet on optimal spot here for the Hurricane. The question is Boston fucking good enough right now to take advantage of it right now? I'm going to take a chance at this price now. I'm going to take a chance they are after getting blanked by the Flyers. Plus 165, best price out there with Boston. I will jump on that. But what I like even more in this game, system play, everybody. System play. This is what we've talked about all season here on the not only the Ice Guys show, but this show on Thursdays. A team off a shutout loss like the Boston Bruins the other night against Philadelphia. We are now reaching astronomical record with this trend, with this angle, with these first period and full game overs in games for teams after a shutout loss. And it cashed again. Well, no, the full game over pushed, but the first period over hit with Calgary, Utah. Calgary coming off a shutout loss last night. So we are now for the season at 14-2. 14-2 to the first period over for games with teams off a shutout loss. And we are now at 11-4-1 to the full game over for teams off a shutout loss. And of course, that is Boston. Why does this angle make sense? Well, when you get shut out, what do you want to fix? Your offense. You got to get your goal scoring going. You got to get your offense going. That, I think, is why this angle makes a lot of sense. And you play more aggressive offensively, and maybe you give up more chances at the other end defensively as well. So this has been just an absolutely beautiful angle. It's unbelievable how it's hitting. It's become an auto bet for me when I see it pop up on the schedule, a team off a shutout loss. So we are going to go with it again here tonight. First period over and full game over in this game. So first period over 1.5 minus 115 and full game over 5.5 minus 130.
You are locked in here. Historically, Bruins Hurricanes, I'd be on the first period under, but I am concerned with the Bruins needing to create offense. That got me off, but it still got me on the under 6. Fortunately, Bobano on the over 5.5 and on the first period over 1.5. And we're both on the Bruins money line. Bobano getting a better line than I got. Plus 165 for Bobano, plus 157 for me. We roll on. Next up for us, Edmonton Oilers at Nashville Predators, Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. A lot of talk about the Edmonton Oilers, and it's a fun thing to talk about. I really enjoy talking and capping this hockey team. I really enjoy it. Calvin Pickard expected to be in net 2-1, 2.91 goals against average, 875 save percentage. Going up against UC Saros, 2-4-1, 2.75 goals against average, 905 save percentage, 1 shutout. Take a look at the line history here for this one. This total is at 6.5. It's minus 116 to the under. It opened up at 6.5, dropped to 6. It's back at 6.5. Basically no movement on it. On the money line here, the Oilers are sitting at plus 112. They opened up at plus 110. This was moving towards the Edmonton Oilers, and I moved on the Edmonton Oilers. I got the Oilers at plus 113. It was, thank you guys. Sorry, God, I'm just sorry. 113. And it was plus 110 at 365, plus 113 at a different book, and I moved on it there. Edmonton power play 13.8%, penalty killing at 62.1%. Their special teams have been atrocious. Everything they're doing is being bad. Nashville 18.2% power play, 93.1% penalty killing. Zach Hyman has 0 goals, 1 assist through 10 games, and he's not the only one doing nothing. Jeff Skinner, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Victor Arvidsson have combined for 3 goals in 30 games. So how can you fix that? Well, you get the superstar McDavid to go down with an injury. You force these players who are not stepping up, who we've all seen step up. I mean, we've seen Skinner go for 40 goals. We've seen Arvidsson go for 30 many times. We've seen Nugent score 100 points. We've seen Zach Hyman go for 57, I believe it was last year. You take McDavid off. Now, is that going to help you in the long run? No. But is it going to help you in that first game? I think yes. They had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 6-1 loss at Columbus on Monday night. It was ugly. McDavid's now out for 2 to 3 weeks with an ankle injury. Nashville had their 3-game winning streak snapped at 3-2 overtime loss at Tampa on Monday. Stamkos returned to Tampa. He's been bad this year. 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points, 9 games. He's a -7. I don't want to fade the Predators. I really don't. And I also don't really want to back them. You guys know, because of all with Marchessault and Stamkos coming in, it's just going to take a little bit of time. But starting the year, 0-5, they're going to get their shit together. They're going to get theirs. I just couldn't help myself here expecting these players who are being called out in the media to step up. And we talked about it. We talked about their defense being worse this year. The losing Broberg and Holloway may be a tougher pill to swallow. Remember, those are the best 2 draft picks of the old regime. And they're a little smaller. They're a little slower. Also with Evander Kane, when he comes back in February, he's not the kind of guy that they're looking for right now. They need a top 4 defenseman, and they're going to get one. Everybody says they're going to get a top 4 defenseman at some point during the year. I'm on them tonight. Take it away, Bridgestone Arena, Nashville, Tennessee, Oilers, Predators.
2 straight overtime games for Nashville. 3 of the last 7 for Edmonton have gone to overtime. This is my draw bet my only draw bet for the card tonight with Edmonton and Nashville. I don't trust Edmonton to win the game, but I think they're going to be competitive. They'll step up, I think, as a collective. The first full game without Connor McDavid. That often happens, especially hockey, basketball. It's an angle we talk about quite a bit. I can see it tonight. And Nashville's coming off, Stamkos' big return to Tampa, emotional night. I know they lost in overtime. I think it would be a better spot for me to take Edmonton if Nashville had won against Tampa Bay the other night. But because they lost and because I still think Nashville playing some better hockey the last few games, that's why I'm not on Edmonton. But I do think we've got a chance to see OT here in this game. So draw plus 350.
Draw plus 350. A free bet on the total at 6.5. I'm certain the Oilers are going to play their best defensive game.
That would shock me. And the thing is, I'd be hoping for 6.5 with the total at 6, because I think the last time they played in Nashville, it was early in the season. Edmonton, it was 4-2. It landed right on 6. So I think stylistically and theoretically, it makes sense maybe to lean under as well. And Nashville's capable defensively, especially when Saros is on his game. The Tampa game stayed under the other night for Nashville, so I don't hate that.
I'm interested in it. Drewski says, should the Predators be favored more than -130? Absolutely, they should. Shouldn't the Jets have been favored at more than -130 when they're 8-0 and the Leafs were coming to? Absolutely, they should. The market knows that the dog is very live in this situation, and that's why Predators are not a bigger favorite here.
And I put out the disclaimer again with the draw bets on the show. The bets on the show are the same unit size, the same unit amount, flat one unit across the board. But I don't bet the draws that way. I bet the draws for much, much, much smaller, and I recommend that to everybody.
I feel you. You are locked in Bobano with the draw plus 350. I'm on Edmonton, and I'm very interested in adding the under in this one. Let's move on to the final spot on the board. There's Mel in the house. Great to see you, Mel. We have Chicago Blackhawks, San Jose Sharks. We're going into NFL right after this. And DC Capper's top play is on the Chicago Blackhawks. And it makes me uncomfortable being on the other side of them. But I'm on the Sharks here. I'd prefer not to back the Sharks after such an impressive hockey game, but this is a team that lost 9 straight. And now 1, 2, it's not, I don't think they come in here willy-nilly. We're a good hockey team. And so, again, I would prefer that they aren't feeling good about themselves. And I can't really claim one or the other, but it's not the perfect situation. The Sharks right now are at plus 135. You know, I thought this line was moving towards them. That stopped. I did get plus 136, so it's not like, you know, I was hoping that we'd come in here and be a plus 125. 365 had moved it to 125, and it's back at 130, you know. So, you know, I mean, obviously no one wants to bet the Sharks here. I get it. So, Andrew G says, come on, Hawks, beat the Chitty Sharks. You look, Andrew G, it's not a popularity contest. You know, bet whoever is going to pad your bankroll. And if you think that's the Blackhawks, and then God bless you, man. Mrazek is not a good goaltender. He's coming off a good season. Do we believe that? Oh, I don't. Now, if he wants to have 2 good seasons in a row, I'll stop talking shit about him. Mackenzie Blackwood, good God, does he need a good hockey season under his belt. Chicago power play 21.2%, penalty killing 77.4%. San Jose power play 19.4%, penalty killing 79.6%. Ron Crawford in the house. Great to see you, Ronnie. Blackhawks snapped their 4-game losing streak with a 5-2 win at the Avalanche on Monday. This is game 3 of a 5-game road trip. So this is a very young hockey team with noted partiers on their hockey team in Bertuzzi. And now they've had a couple days off in Cali, coming off a huge victory against Colorado. And the Sharks are in game 2 of 5-game homestand. And Michael Granlund's been excellent. 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points, 11 games played. They played all season without Vlasic and Couture, so they're used to being without them. It's not like they're taking them off an active roster. And then Macklin Celebrini's been gone for most of the season, so they're comfortable in that. Take it away. Yes, DC, you've told me now multiple times that your bet on the Blackhawks is a winner. Take it away here for us, Bobano. Blackhawks, Sharks.
Yeah, this is a pass for me. There's a lot I like on this card. This game's tricky. San Jose, look, they've won 2 in a row. Red hot. So look out. Maybe they got a run in them, but no, give them credit. In all seriousness, give them credit, right? They had a winless start to the year. They've struggled offensively without Macklin Celebrini since that first game, but they've won 2 in a row against Utah and LA. Give them all the credit. We'll see if they can continue that here. I'm starting to like what I'm seeing too from Chicago. You know, these last few games, Bedard and Teravainen, and is starting to get some. And I think they put Reichel up on that line recently, Luke Richardson, and Reichel started to maybe look like that guy that can fit with that top line, which is good to see. Chicago's owned this series, 5 straight victories over the San Jose Sharks. I do lean Chicago, but no way at this price do I want to take Chicago. I'm not in the business of laying minus 150 on the road with the Chicago Blackhawks. Sorry, I'm just not. Even though I kind of lean in that direction. So easy pass for me.
Do you think that this is a nice spot to fade at all, the Blackhawks, after that beautiful win against the Avalanche and one too many days off possibly on the road for a team of young players where you got Bertuzzi, and we know he loves the sauce?
They haven't won 2 in a row, Colorado or Chicago. Chicago hasn't won 2 in a row yet this year. So it's another reason why I'm not laying this. Like, they got to show me they can string wins together, string good performances together. They haven't done that yet this year. So another reason why I'm opting. I do kind of lean to the over here. I could see, 2 bad teams. These are expected to be 2 of the worst teams, right? Why don't you just go out there, have some success offense? You know what? Give me the over. I'll tack that on. I'll be pissed if this game's because I could see this being a mess of a game. 4-3, 5-4, track meet kind of game. Chicago is starting to score goals. 5 against Colorado was a good sign for them after struggling. San Jose's broken out of their funk. They've scored 9 goals in the last 2 games. I don't expect there to be a ton of defense in this game. It's trended over the total, by the way. 3 straight meetings have had at least 6 goals. So, yeah, I'd be upset if I didn't bet the over and it hits. So, over 6 minus 110.
Over 6 minus 110 for Bobano. That concludes NHL breakdowns here. Let's review all action in NHL. Bobano gets his card started with the over 6 in Kraken. Maple Leafs, that cost minus 124. Bobano's on the Blues at plus 140. I'm going to move on both the Flyers to make the playoffs and over 81.5. and I expect the 81.5 to give me the free roll on the Flyers to make the playoffs at plus 425. Then we're both on the Ducks. If you guys join now, I shouldn't say. If you guys watch NFL Pub Hub, all the bets that Bobano and I were together on cash. But if you watch NFL Pub Hub, Bobano went 8-2. So everything that he bet was cashing. So you wanted to have anything correlating with Bobano.
I'm in the black in that show, by the way, which is great. Yeah,
in the black, Bobano. You are third overall out of 28 cappers right now.
So it's all it takes is 1 week like that, and you're right there. Yeah,
just up just under 6 units, and we need you on Sunday. So Bobano and I both on the Ducks here in this one, and Ducks team total over 2.5. I'd like to add, and I probably will do that right here when we're doing capping NFL. The question is, do I need to move now on the under in the Oilers game? I certainly need to move now on that team total over, but I'll figure that out. He's also on the over 6 at minus 125. I'm just on the Ducks.
I hope you like the Indianapolis Colts this Sunday night, because that's one of the strongest fucking sides I've seen in a very long time, in my opinion, in an NFL game.
Yes, I've already bet the Colts, my friend.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I'm on Montreal plus 175. Bobano's on them at plus 185. You know, I came in here with a ton of dogs, and look who else is on a ton of dogs tonight as well. Mr. Ian Cameron. I'm on Boston at plus 157. Bobano's on Boston at plus 165. Now he's got the first period over 1.5 and the full game over 5.5. I'm on the under 6 at minus 115. Rod Zawacki says, bet against Chicago in away or neutral games on the money line after a game where they covered the spread. Chicago's 0-14 in those situations. Bobano's on the draw at plus 350. I'm on Edmonton, and I'm on the under 6.5. I just want to take one quick second here, and I know I probably shouldn't. We got to go, but you know what? I'll do this on my own time. But I want to know that I'm not timing these things perfectly. And here, I think I got to get in the 6.5 as soon as possible to ensure that I get it. So I'm going to move on the under in the team total. So I'm going to have a ton of I'm going to have a heavy investment in NHL tonight, and it's time for me to step up on the ice. Bobano's on the over 6 in Blackhawks, Sharks, and our guy DC Capper's play of the day is the Chicago Blackhawks. 9 legacy, Boston Bruins money line, Blues money line, Sharks and Mavericks on the Sharks money line, Mavericks on the spread for our guy 9 legacy. So great job there. All right, let's move on to NFL. So it's not just NFL Pub Hub where Bobano has caught fire. I did the records last night, Bobano, just because it's going to be all horses for me. So I want to have everything set up for NFL Pub Hub on Sunday, so I have to do nothing. Bobano now, in his last 3 shows on NFL Pub Hub, is 23-10. Wow. Plus 11, a little over 11 units. That's what Bobano's done on the last 3 NFL Pub Hubs. The 1 week that he wasn't with us on NFL Pub Hub, he also had a monster week. Not only that, but on our last 3 Thursdays, after starting 0-4, Bobano has swept the board. He's 5-0 on our last 3 Thursdays. Moved into the black on the show as well. Not only that, but Big O says haircut as sharp as the capper.
Oh
Bobano.
my gosh, thank you. Appreciate that. Yep.
So
we needed to get it trimmed. It was getting long. Yep.
Let's get to work here. We've heard from BJ. He's on Best Bet Jets. Oh, shit. Sorry. God, let's go over here. We've heard from BJ. Oh, and then we can move. God, I take Jose for granted. Let's move this over here. There we go. All right. We've heard from BJ. Best Bet Jets 5 units. Now, why would I not be on the Jets? Just because I've lost so much money on them. Because Zerline just screws me and screws me and screws me.
You don't have to worry about him. He's on the IR now, so
Thank
it'll be
God.
some other kicker tonight. Yeah,
to blame.
Can't be worse.
So BJ's on the Jets. Ron Crawford. Ron Crawford's play of the day is on the New York Jets. Shout out to our guy, Ron Crawford. Then we have Justin McKelvey. Stacks play today is Garrett Wilson. Over 64.5 receiving yards at plus 102. Shout out to our guy, Justin.
Stacks.
Gerald Jones is on the under 43. Dougie Wise, free bands play today, Jets -2. I moved on the Jets -1.5 and -112. Unfortunately, I also moved on the Houston Texans, New York Jets under 42. Hugh Jana says, why do people keep backing these Jets? Look, I wish I wasn't. And look, I wasn't on the Jets last week, but I was on the team total over 24.5, which would have cashed if Zerline wasn't an ass clown. We both, Bobano and I, cashed on the full game over very easily. Let's get into the line history and the cash flow. My whole breakdown is on our homepage. I'm not going to go into my whole breakdown here with Troy Torrance, but I can tell you that
no, you know what's another reason that didn't go over that team total last week? Because you talk about how such a Jet thing to do. How the fuck do you get a delay a game penalty on a 2-point conversion attempt? That's inexcusable how that happened. That's ridiculous. That's Bush League. That's a team that has no fucking clue on the sideline, the coaching staff, what they're doing when that happens.
I agree. And Woody firing Sal after 5 games it's not only poor decision making from the management, but the ownership just betting on or moving on impulse and not thinking things through.
Bring someone with experience in, and I get firing Salah. He was a
bad in the offseason
coach, but you got to have a contingency plan to bring someone with experience in to replace him, and they never did. And now this poor fucking guy Ulbrich, I'm sure he's a good guy. He's in over his head. And look at this defense too. How they've declined since Ulbricht's taken over, because he's got to focus on defense and scheming and game planning. He can't do that anymore because he's the head coach. He's got to worry about the whole team and all aspects of the team. So the defense has come unglued too since this coaching change happened. It's gotten worse.
So Rod Zawacki has so many great angles and trends. And here it's bet against the Jets versus excellent passing teams with a completion percentage over 64% or better in the second half of the season. So, that's not come to fruition yet. But he says New York Jets record since 2022 season 1-9 against the spread. Let me talk about why this is not a good passing team. And then I'll explain it. And it's just injuries that have caused it. But I'll explain that. So this is a -2 right now. It did get up to 2.5, but it opened at 1. From a total perspective, it's climbing. Makes me extremely uncomfortable. It opened up at 43, dropped to 42. I moved on it at under 42, and now it's at 42.5, juice to the over, and there's 43s out there. Robert Franklin on Houston, +2. So let me just do a couple things here. This passing offense from the Texans overall this year, they're 8th in the league with 232.5 yards per game. In their last 3, no Nico Collins, they're 30th. They're 3rd worst in the league. Let's talk about their third down offense. This year, they were kind of good, 16th, 38.9%. In their last 3 games, they are 26th in the NFL, converting just 32.4%. Of course. You can't just take Nico Collins, who looked like the best receiver in the NFL, and then Stephon Diggs off of this team and expect CJ Stroud to deliver. I mean, Nico Collins was the best receiver in the league. Diggs 7th in the NFL in catches and 2nd in yards for the Texans because Nico was first. So, yes, they have Dalton Schultz. They have Tank Dell and John Mechie. We know that Tank Dell can deliver. I'm sure a lot of people will be on Tank Dell props, but Mechie has had opportunities to step up, and he hasn't done it. Will he do it here? Joe Mixon is certainly a weapon. First player in NFL history to have at least 100 yards rushing and a touchdown and run in 4 of his first 5 games for the team. The only game he didn't have 100 yards and rushing touchdown was when he got hurt in the second quarter. So the lack of weapons was felt in the red zone. They went 2 for 6 in the red zone in their 23-20 win at home over the Colts. And Rod Zweig said the Jets' defensive front is beat up. It is. But, if you're sitting here on the Texans +2, know that 9 out of every 10 tickets is with you. 9 out of every 10 tickets is with you on the Texans. And this line is moving towards the Jets. Now, it's optional misery to bet the Jets. Why do you keep smashing your head against the wall if when you smash your head against the wall, you bleed? I can't answer that shit. I can't. But I'm not going to be afraid to go back to the well when I believe I have an advantage. And I believe I have an advantage here. Aziz Al-Shair is not expected to play. I mean, that can change, but he's not expected to play. He's a monster. And Henry Toe is a coming back, and it's a huge addition to have him back. He was the leading tackler, but if in this situation here, if you guys want, like, Hassan Reddick is not fully back yet, but he's going to be better than he was last week, right? He only played in third down situations last week. And we don't think CJ Mosley is going to be in. That hurts. Elijah Vera Tucker can't be trusted. He's not going to play on a short week. A lot of people despise Aaron Rodgers. I'm not a fan of him, but I just think that there is an advantage in backing the Jets here at home. And as much as I've lost backing them, I'm going to go right back to the well again. Take it away, Bobano. You are 5-0 over our last 3 Thursdays, Texans, Jets.
And we are not adding to that record tonight. I am not involved in this game. I don't have official plays. It's a clear stay away for me because I believe there are some things working in the Jets' favor. Okay, this is a Houston offensive line that's struggling. This is a Houston offensive line that's banged up. This is a receiving core that's banged up. No Collins, no Diggs. The passing game has not been the same for C.J. Stroud since Collins went down. And now you have no Stephon Diggs. And now Tank Dell, I like him, but as a number one receiver, we don't know what we're going to get from John Mechie. It's a team, offensively, I'm not trusting them right now on the road fully at this point in time. But there's no freaking way I can trust the New York Jets either. That's how bad things have fallen with them. Coming off the New England debacle, that was their chance to maybe salvage things this year. Maybe tonight they take advantage of just too much of a banged-up Houston team. But another thing, I actually lean Texans, but I don't like the situation with them from an injury standpoint enough. Joe Mixon should be able to run the ball. I'm not making this official, but Joe Mixon over rushing yards I like tonight for Houston. I think it's going to be a run-heavy game plan. Jets have been a miserable run defense compared to what people expected out of them. Everyone's been able to run on the Jets this year, and I think they're going to run the ball a lot with Mixon. So Mixon, I think around 71.5 last I checked was his rush yards prop. I think that's probably worth a look, so I'll give you that. Not official play for the show, but I'll give you that. I'll probably have a couple bucks on that. Mixon over rushing yards, but nothing for me from a side or a totals perspective. I kind of want to bet the Jets over now because they're throwing the ball more and the defense has fallen apart in recent games, but I can't do that with Houston's offense right now. So it's a clear pass on the total. It's a clear pass for me on the side here in this game. The one thing that does benefit Houston, though, is DeMeco Ryans is in year 2. He might be more adept to handle this Thursday night football with injuries on a short week. Ulbrich is a rookie interim head coach. And now you're going to put into his lap I have Teddy Covers in my ear when I say this because he's said it for years that the rookie head coaches on Thursday night football are as bet against as it gets. And so that's the concern with Ulbrich here. You've got to find a way to plan on the fly, get ready on the fly for a Thursday night game on a short week, which is something he's never done until this week. How's that going to go? So I lean Houston, but there's enough negatives and red flags with the Texans here to stay off that side. Pass for me.
I get it. I absolutely get it. Again, optional misery. I'm choosing it tonight. We have a Halloween live stream hosted by Jose Bouquet. A ton of great cappers on the show here this evening. 4 live streams now for this because I'm Friday night with you guys with the horses, Saturday all day, Saturday night as well with the horses. So I'm hosting NFL Pub Sunday morning, but I'm not hosting the live stream Sunday night. I need to give my liver a rest. I need to regroup, and then I'll be back on Monday night for the Monday nighter. So I'm on the Jets, Jets, Jets.
Get your nitroglycerin pills ready, and anyone on the Jets for that matter. Yeah.
Oh, it's been horrible. It's been horrible. And then I'm also on the under, which is extremely uncomfortable watching the line move against me. All right, let's roll on. Next up, we move into college football. Just one game on the card here. Just one. Let me move over to Tulane Green Wave versus the Charlotte 49ers. This is also the pig milk play of the day. Billy Friedrich, Tulane, Charlotte over 56.5 at -108. He said he'd ladder that all the way up to over 65. Let's get it. Let's get into the line history and the cash flow here for this one. And again, we need you guys at our Cappers Contest show today. I hope I can pull off the voting I'm very nervous about it, but we need you there. Please support. We need at least 20 votes. We went 4-1 last week, and we would have gone 5-0 if you guys had have let me push the Eagles through as the addition to the when we voted for the tiebreak. And you guys, I thought we had it, and then you guys pushed the Chiefs through by a few percent. That was our only loss. 4-1. We're in the black. We have a chance now in the Cappers contest. In the Circa Millions Cappers contest. All right, let's go. Tulane Green Wave. What a season they have had. 6-2, 4-0 in the American. Darian Mensah just continues to deliver. We talked about them often here on this show with Bobano. At the Charlotte 49ers, 3-5, 2-2 in the American. It goes to show you that even with a great coach, you also need a roster. And that's something that the 49ers don't have. But we do trust their coaching implicitly. We're at Jerry Richardson Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Beautiful weather tonight, 71 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 6 miles per hour. This has been an astonishing market move back towards Charlotte. This opened up at 16. The move came in on Tulane right away to 17. And then it dropped all the way to 14.5. Now, you can explain why that is, and it's not based on the rosters of these two football teams. It's based on a short week for Tulane off of a road game and then another road game. It's very difficult. This total is at 55.5. It opened up at 55.5. It climbed up to 56.5. And this morning, it's dropped a full point and looks like it could drop more. 55s look like they could be coming. Let's get into the cash flow for this spot. We have a move towards Tulane with 9% of the tickets and 6% of the cash on. Oh, sorry. God, Jesus. Sorry, tripping. We have a move towards Charlotte with 91% of the tickets and 94% of the cash on them. How is that possible? 10,839 tickets, and they're all on Charlotte? Honestly, when I was reading out the 9%, 6%, because I thought that's how many people were trusting Charlotte. Wow. So the public is on Charlotte? That's nuts to me. On the total, you have 73% of tickets, 77% cash on the over. Moving to the under. Robert Franklin got Charlotte plus 16. You got to feel good about it. Billy Frieda said Charlotte's going to lose by 20 plus. So here we go. We'll set this up quickly for Bobano. Both teams are on a short week with Tulane dealing with the consecutive road games. As I said, Tulane comes in off their 5th straight win, 45-37 in North Texas, 7.5-point favorites. They were up 45-24 going into the fourth quarter. They let their foot off the gas with a couple late touchdowns. That's why I'm not going to give you the yards against them, because you tack on those two drives. One was 90, one was 70. It implies that Tulane was weak defensively when they weren't. So I'm not going to give you those stats. They're now tied with Navy at 4-0, looking at Army at 6-0 in the AAC. Don't forget when Bobano was on the show, and he gave out Army to win the AAC at 9-1. So Tulane's been a covering machine this year. That's why I'm surprised there's not more tickets on them. They've covered 6 of 8 overall, 3 of 4 on the road. Mensah's been a revelation at quarterback. There's a belief that Mekhi Hughes will dominate this game on the ground. And why wouldn't people think that with how bad Charlotte's run defense is? Charlotte comes in off their 2nd straight loss, both coming on the road. They fell last week on Saturday, 33-28 at Memphis as 16.5-point dogs. They look good in that one, but that came on the heels of that 51-17 road loss at the aforementioned Navy as 16.5-point dogs. They lost the turnover battle 5-0 in that one. Charlotte has been destroyed against quality opposition this year. And who do you have here? Quality opposition.
Yep.
I am still astonished that 9 out of 10 tickets have come in on Charlotte. Take it away for us here, Bobano, our lone Thursday night game, Green Wave 49ers in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Well, I'm kind of with you because Tulane's a different class. And I actually was on Charlotte last week against Memphis, but you can't compare Memphis to Tulane. Memphis is supposed to be really good, but we say that every year about Memphis. They're supposed to be really good. They still stink on defense, and they show it year in and year out, Memphis. And Charlotte was right there with them start to finish to win that game. They needed a touchdown, Memphis, with 30 seconds left to pull in front 31-28 last week. But Memphis is no Tulane, especially not defensively. And even offensively, Memphis is okay. This Darian Mensah Tulane offense is a different animal. Other than Rice, they had a little bit of a hiccup there. It wasn't the best offensive effort. They didn't cover. They only scored 24. And maybe they play down to competition, Tulane, a little bit here. Maybe that happens. But Charlotte defensively, against the best offenses they've played, Indiana hung 52 against them. North Carolina put 38 on the board against them. Navy put 51 on the board against them. I mean, this has not been a very good Charlotte team against the best offenses they've played. And now they got to face Darian Mensah, this very balanced Tulane attack. They can run it. They can throw it. The quarterback can run with the football as well. A great game last week from Mekhi Hughes, the great receiver the great running back for Tulane. He was great running the ball. They've got multiple receivers, including Dante Fleming. This is going to be a handful for Charlotte on the defensive side of the football. But their offense is capable. We've seen Biff Pogge's team actually on the offensive side of the football, show some improvement here. Now, I think a part of the reason, too, Jimmy, why the money's come in on Charlotte, they didn't know if Max Brown, the Florida transfer, was going to be available here for this game. Because he was benched for Deshaun Purdy, and they were wondering if Purdy was going to get the start here again. Now, he wasn't very good against Memphis, 4 for 8, but he is going to get the start here, Max Brown, for Charlotte in this game. I still think he's better than Deshaun Purdy. I was not impressed by him. I think it was just a bad half of football. You got to go back to him. He's been your starter most of the year. I could see Charlotte putting up some points here in this game a little bit as well. So I'm with, I think it was Billy, right? Someone said they were on the over.
Big
it was Billy.
Yeah,
Billy. That's what I'm on. I think the side's tricky. Charlotte has been starting to cover some numbers as double-digit dogs. So I'm a little leery of fading them. But, man, I worry like hell about that Charlotte defense being able to get stops tonight against this obviously awesome Tulane offense, especially if Tulane is locked in and playing good football. So we'll go in with the over. Best number out there I see is over 54.5, minus 115 right now. We'll go with that. I think we'll see enough points. We'll probably get something along the lines of 38 to 20, something like that in favor of Tulane. I think Tulane might squeak out the cover. But Charlotte will put up, I think, some points, and Tulane will do the majority of the heavy lifting. 38-20, something like that. That'll give you, that's 58. That puts you over the total. So over 54.5 for me.
What was the juice on that?
Minus 115.
Minus 115 here. I'm going to have to stay off. I don't feel comfortable with the market on either the side or total. Just doesn't feel good. And I've so invested in this NHL card, and I'm about to be I'm so invested in NHL cards, and then I'm
the Thursday night NFL.
Legit invested with 2 spots in NFL. The question is, what will my investment be in NBA? As I've been very, very low volume, just 4-1, but 4-1 to start the year. I'm ready to attack. You guys know I have a deep fear of NBA, and it helps me.
Yep.
I know how tricky NBA is, and I just it's helped me over the years. I love capping it, and I go over every year I go over what worked, what didn't. And last year I got off to a bad start, and I was like, I can't let that happen. I can't let that happen. And I can't wait to attack this NBA card with our guy, Bobano, one of the stars of the OG NBA show on our friend Ski Profits YouTube channel. So let's get to work here in NBA. Let's switch over to Milwaukee. Memphis is how we get started. 8 p.m. Eastern. We're at FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. The Bucks 1-3, 1-2 on the road. Memphis Grizzlies 2-3, 1-2 at home. We're at FedEx Forum, Memphis. Let's get into the line history and the cash flow. Set this one up and hand it over to Bobano. Just 4 games on the NBA card. Another thing is that we are not racing today. Tomorrow will be $100 race. I can't. I don't know how to work it, and I'm doing the voting, and I spent a lot of time last night trying to figure that out. So $100 race tomorrow for our PSR Gold members, $100 on the line to get you rocking and rolling here on the weekend. All right, let's take a look at the line history here. We got Memphis plus 6.5, plus 6.5 and minus 108. Open up at 5.5, so we have a 1-point move towards the Milwaukee Bucks. When we get to the total in this one, we have a 232.5, and it is juiced to the under. This total came out at 1:30 this morning at 224.5. We've gone up 8 points which may sound like the WNBA, but this is the NBA 8-point move to the over. Historically, Bobano, when we've gone over 7 points of market movement, I fade the movement because I believe that the advanced models couldn't be that far off. I'm not saying that I'm going to do that here, but good God, an 8-point move on the total.
It's warranted. I'll just say that right now. It's totally warranted. Yeah.
We'll hear your breakdown, and I can't wait to hear it. Ron Crawford, NBA play today on Memphis plus 6.5. So we talked about the big move. Let's talk about the cash flow. From a cash flow perspective, we have 38% of tickets, 37% of cash on the Milwaukee Bucks. On the total, 88% of tickets and 88% of cash on the over. Bucks coming off their third straight loss, 119-108 at the Celtics on Monday night. They shot 25.8% from three and had 17 turnovers. You can't beat the champs when you do that. And Antetokounmpo, probable tonight. He's listed on the injury report every game because of the right patella tendonitis, but he's not missed a game. Double-double in each of Milwaukee's first 4 games, 28.8 points per game, 11.8 boards, 6.3 assists in just 34.5 minutes. Chris Middleton is close to returning. He won't return here. We expect him to. He could play next in their next game. This is the final game of a 3-game road trip for the Bucks. Memphis is on the second half of a back-to-back after losing their second straight game, and 3rd and 4, 119-106 at home to Brooklyn last night. The Grizzlies scored 16 points in the fourth. They shot just 29.6% from three. I thought that was the third quarter that they did that, but 16 points in the fourth, shot just 29.6% from three for the game, and they turned the ball over 22 times. Ja was 5 for 16 from the field, 1 of 6 from three, turned the ball over 5 times, only scored 14 points, and they lost both Desmond Bane and Marcus Smart to injuries. Bane with the oblique and Marcus Smart with the ankle. Who in the world thinks they're going to actually play after those injuries? Take it away here for us, Bobano. Bucks, Grizzlies, and Bobano setting us up by saying that this 8-point swing to the over is warranted. Floor is yours, my man. Take it away.
It is warranted, but now the question is, do I want to still make it official at this current number? Because I thought when it opened, and I didn't expect this kind of. I said this got to move. I didn't think it would move 8 points, but it had to move. I mean, this opened at as low as 223.5. That was too low. And even overnight, it was 225.5, 226. That was too low. But we are talking now 231. The Grizzlies aren't playing any defense right now. And that's clear as day. And I had an easy over with Brooklyn-Memphis last night. I had Memphis over the total against Chicago the game before that. There is no defense being played. Now they're without Marcus Smart here, one of their better defensive players. And they weren't great even when he was on the floor. Their defense wasn't really playing all that great. Now you take Marcus Smart out of there. That's a big problem. Now, Desmond Bane being out hurts them a little bit offensively, but like I said, that's not been the problem. You know, it's been getting stops, and they're not getting any at all right now, this Memphis Grizzlies team. Milwaukee off a blowout loss to Boston, 119-108. Well, it turned into a blowout in the second. They were competitive in the first half, but things kind of got away from them after that. We'll see if that continues or if they can bounce back. Now, that's 3 losses in a row here for the Milwaukee Bucks. And now they get to play a Memphis team that even though they're at home again, it's back-to-back. Milwaukee's been off a couple days in a row. So I'm going to attack this from 2 angles here. I'm going to go with Milwaukee team total over 119 at Bet Online. I like that quite a bit. I think that's a good team total to look at. I think Milwaukee, off these 3 losses in a row against a Memphis team that is a sieve at the defensive end of the basketball court right now, will be able to do their share of damage here in this game. And then I'm on the fence with the full game over because I've got 227 in pocket. It's nowhere near that right now, but I'm still going to go with it. Let's go. Over 231.5 minus 110 at Betway. I will tack on even at a slightly worse number this over because right now Memphis is playing as well. The number 2 pace in the NBA, the Memphis Grizzlies right now, and flying up and down the court. Possessions per game are through the roof. Defense is lacking. Milwaukee, I think, can score at will with Lillard outside, Giannis inside, and you got to hope Ja Morant picks it up offensively. This is a spot where, especially with Bane injured, Ja's got to pick it up. Ja Morant can't have 14 points. He's got to be better than that, more efficient than that offensively, especially on a back-to-back. I think he will. Milwaukee's defense hasn't been anything to write home about, so give me Bucks team total over and full game over, even with the move.
So let's talk So the over 231.5 was minus 119. What was the team total over 119?
Both were minus 110 for the
both were
Juice.
minus
Both
110.
were minus 110 for the
Okay.
Juice.
My
Over
bad.
231.5, and the team total over 119 for Milwaukee.
Now I'm not a player prop.
Oh no, you
gambler.
know what? Hold
Yeah.
on a second. Pinnacle might be better than 119. Let me just double check on that. Might be a better number because I'm seeing BetStamp telling me that the team total right now, Milwaukee's a little bit better. Yes, it is. Let's go at for Milwaukee instead. Over 118.5 minus 112. Get a half point better for only 2 cents more.
Over 118.5
Yep.
at minus 112.
Yep.
So now I'm not a player prop gambler, but how does Ja not step up here after going 1 of 5 or whatever, 1 of 6,
Oh,
whatever he
not
did for
good at
3?
all last night. I know because I was on the over and it still went over the total, but I got no help from him.
So isn't this the spot where we're going to get it tonight, don't you think?
I do think John Moran over points, especially now with Bain hurt. It's definitely a good prop bet. I think John Moran over points because if he doesn't step his game up offensively, there's a problem because you've lost your backcourt mate, and you had a bad night last night, and you're off another loss to a Brooklyn team that's on a back-to-back, and they go into Memphis and beat them. Yeah, John Morant's got to step up. Simple.
And you have Dame defending you.
Exactly. It should be a matchup advantage there, no doubt.
And you want, and
Not
also
a great defender from the point guard spot.
and you want to tire him out. And that's part of the reason why you go at him, just so he doesn't hurt you as bad on the other end.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move on Ja over points. I'll have to shop around. I'm seeing 20.5 different VIGs, so I'm going to move on that. I'm not a player prop better, but I don't want to be afraid to move when I think I have an opportunity, and I believe I have one here. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board. Houston Rockets at Dallas Mavericks. These Rockets 2-2, 1-1 on the road. Mavericks 3-1, 2-0 at home. We're at American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. We already heard from Mike Wilkerson. Mike Wilkerson gave us Luka over 8.5 boards. There's my guy, the chillest in the house. Great to see you, my man. Let's get into the line history here. So we have Rockets, Mavs. Let's get into the line history. This total is sitting at 227.5 minus 109 to the over. Opened up at 225.5, now 227.5. On the spread, we have Dallas minus 6.5, minus 107. They opened up minus 5, so we've gone up to 6.5. It did drop back to 6 for a cup of coffee, but it's back now at 6.5. Top set says SGP, same game parlay material here. Bucks money line, Grizz team total over, and Morant points over at plus 700 here. Let's get to the cash flow. We have 91% of the tickets, 91% of the cash on the over. On the spread, you have 95% of the tickets and 95% of the cash on the Mavericks. Interesting. Rockets coming off back-to-back games in San Antonio on Saturday and Monday. They lost the first one 109-106 before winning the second one 106-101. Jalen Green went for 36 in the victory. Steven Adams listed as questionable tonight. We'll get a lot of that with the load management. Mavericks coming off their second straight win 120-114 at Minnesota on Tuesday. Kyrie went for 35 in the victory. Of course, Kleber out with a hamstring injury. Dante Exum out indefinitely with a wrist injury. Is there any chance that this is sort of a letdown spot for the Mavericks after, the dagger by Luka, the huge game from Kyrie, going up against, a Minnesota team that they had to battle in the conference final? What do you think of this spot, Bobano? Take it away. Rockets, Mavericks.
I'm interested in Houston a little bit. I am. I don't think it's the best situation here for Dallas after, beating Minnesota was the team they beat in the West Final. They got him again. Unbelievable shot making again by Luka the Don at the end of that. Just incredible. To step back 3 from almost half court. I mean, it's just absolutely insane what he did to put that game away, put that nail in that coffin of the Minnesota Timberwolves the other night. We'll see how they fare here against Houston. Houston's been a bit of an erratic team so far this year, 2-2. It's been a win one, lose one, or lose one, win one, lose one, win one type of start to the year for them. So if the pattern holds, you think they lose here, but split with San Antonio, blew out Memphis, lost to Charlotte the first game. They were up big against Charlotte. Let's not forget that. And they ended up losing after having a double-digit lead in that first game of the season against the Hornets. You look at series history, and last year Dallas blew out Houston in Houston. Houston won at home against Dallas in December. And then there was a late season game where Houston was up big, and Dallas rolls back and forces overtime and then wins by 11 in overtime. One of those brutal beats if you had Houston. You lose as a dog in overtime to Dallas. So they've been competitive at times against this Mavericks team. They might just be competitive here again tonight as well. You're getting a decent number with them in this matchup here against the Mavericks. You look at the Dallas schedule. They've got Orlando. Now, I know it's an Eastern Conference team, their next game, Orlando, but that's one of the better teams right now in the Eastern Conference. We'll see. Luka, by the way, if you're interested in a Luka Doncic prop tonight over points, I do have to mention he is averaging like 40 points per game against the Rockets. He has absolutely carved up this team, and it's been consistent. And I think he's gone over his point prop in almost every recent meeting against Houston. So something to keep in mind. Even with that said, even though Luka prop I think is probably a good bet here, I'm interested in this spot with Houston getting the points here against Dallas. Keep in mind that it's not a great perimeter defending team, Dallas. With Klay Thompson and Luka and Kyrie, those guys aren't great, as far as defending around the perimeter. And Houston's got some sharpshooters that are capable of making them pay potentially on that three-point line. So factor in the spot and the price we're getting now here with the Houston Rockets. I think there's enough meat on the bone here to take a shot with Houston in this situation. I will go with them at +7, -114.
Bobano on Houston +7 at -114. I think I'm going to join you, but not right now. I want just to have this market really marinate here. I think I will join you here. Now, did you have any inclination? I know that LJ smashes Houston first half at home. Did you think about only taking them first half in this one, just because we know what happens when push comes to shove, and Luka, especially with that. You talk about that step back three and it was so funny. It was from so deep. We're talking, but he knew he was going to hit it. Like he's just
mastered getting that separation with the step back, and he's just got that little glimmer of open space, and bam, you just right in your eye hole.
Who doesn't let him take that shot though? I mean, you almost want to take it. But did you have any interest in the half, or were you full game the whole way?
I don't really do a lot with first half, so I'm going to stick to full game. I don't hate it, maybe splitting it first half, full game. But if I did that for the show, I'd have to double up. I don't want to do that.
Rod's wacky with that great comment. Bet on Houston versus good pressure defensive teams. So forcing over 15 turnovers a game. Houston 8-0 against the spread. I'm very interested in that look. Extremely. I'm not going to move on that now, but I will be watching the market for a long time. Or all day. Let's move on. And also, Jermaine looking at Van Vliet under point, rebound, and assists. Let's move on to Spurs Jazz. We've heard from Dougie Wise. Our guy, Dougie Wise, is on the Utah Jazz -2 at -105. Let's get into this one. We're at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. The Spurs are 0-2 on the road, and the Jazz are 0 wherever they played. 0-4 overall, 0-3 at the Delta Center. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have the Jazz as -2-point favorites. It's juiced towards the Spurs. They opened up at -2, -106. It's -2, -103, so we've had no movement. When we get to the total here, we have a 222 -107 to the over. This opened up at 227. So a 5-point move towards the under is a big one. Let's get to the cash flow. We get to the cash flow for this one. We have 59% of the tickets and 63% of the cash on the Spurs. And when we get to the total, we have 85% of tickets and 83% cash on the over. There's people with 226s in their pocket going, what have I done? San Antonio's on the second half of a back-to-back after losing 105-93 last night at OKC. Wemby was held to 6 points, 1 of 5 shooting. The Spurs turned the ball over 22 times in the defeat. They need Devin Vassell back bad, and he's close to returning from that foot injury, but he is unavailable tonight. And then you have Trey Jones out for 2 weeks with the ankle injury. So Stephen Castle, Blake Wesley, Malachi Branham are all going to have to step up here. Jazz season opening losing streak is now stretched to 4 games after their 113-96 loss on Tuesday at home versus Sacramento. Just a listless effort. I mean, they shot 39.3 from the field and 29.2 from 3. Taylor Hendricks done for the season with an ankle injury, so the importance for Lauri Markkanen is heightened. And then Markkanen leaves Tuesday's game against the Kings with back spasms, so he's at risk of missing here. So it'd be Filipowski and John Collins who would get the boost. And this is their 3rd game in 4 nights. Nothing makes me want the Jazz, and honestly, nothing makes me want the Spurs. And I see why this has gone to the under. A shout out to our guy, the Skunt Blaster. Huge $19.99 dono for our guy. What a great guy he is supporting our channel. Skunt Blaster, play day number 1 is the Texans plus 110. He's adding Mixon anytime touchdown to make a juicy SGP. He says if your balls are big enough. And Utah Jazz money line and blessing everyone's action. Skunt, you're a great friend of the channel. Thank you for that, my man. And in fact, do we still have we've been working on the Skunt. I don't have the Skunt Blaster video up, but I wish I did. We are working on the Skunt Blaster play of the day. But take it away for us here, Bobano, Spurs, Jazz.
Yeah, I want to take Utah in this spot. I do. Short home favorites, back-to-back for San Antonio after playing in OKC last night. Thin air and high altitude, that's not going to make it any easier for them. But I think I need Lauri Markkanen to play. That's a huge loss for the Utah Jazz. He back spasms. He left the game against Sacramento the other night, and they fell apart after he left the game. They got, it was not good. They got rolled in the 3rd quarter the moment he left that game, and there was no battling back from that. He's obviously, averages, we know what he does for this team. The rebounding defense, the 20 points per game you get from him inside, that's a big loss if he doesn't play. And without him, I don't know if I can get there with Utah, but spot-wise, I do want to get there with Utah because I don't think it's a great spot. I know they're 0-4. They're winless, but I do find they play better at home. And it's not an optimal spot for the Spurs after being in OKC last night. So I definitely lean Utah, but I'm going to need to see that Markkanen gets the green light.
Yeah, no, I absolutely hear you. I don't want to be involved with either of these two basketball teams right now. Real problems, legit problems going on here.
You're going to see a lot of John Collins and Kyle Filipowski if there's no Markkanen tonight. And like I said, it's a big drop-off when you're talking about going to them after Lauri Markkanen. I like Collins, but there's no Lauri Markkanen.
No doubt. There's our guy, Tone Miggins, in the house. While I was looking for our guy, the Skunt Blasters video clip, I did find our latest work from Jose Bouquet. This is it. Dope.
Wow.
All right. Levels play today is Kyrie Irving threes over 2.5 at plus 105, 1.25 units here from our guy, Tone Miggins. I don't know if anybody cashes like our guy. And there's Kong in the house. It's dope, right? We've been playing it a few times. I think it's great, man. Just gets me pumped up, dude. Kyrie Irving, Tone Miggins, man. This guy cash. So we'll pop that in here. That's right under Mike Wilkerson, who's looking at the Luke over 8.5 or bet the Luke over 8.5 boards. All right, let's get into our last spot on the board. Again, we'll review action, but we are not racing for $50. Tomorrow is a $100 horse race. 10:30 p.m. Eastern with the Phoenix Suns at the Los Angeles Clippers. Suns 3-1, but 1-1 on the road. The Clippers 2-2, 0-2 at home. Intuit Dome in Inglewood. Ron Lofton gave a Suns money line Harden over. So yeah, sorry, you gave us uncorrelated Suns money line Harden over 2.5 threes at plus 180. Let's get into the Suns Clippers line history here. This total's at 221.5 minus 114 to the under. What a wild ride this total's been on. This comes out at 1:32 in the morning. This line at 221, and it climbs to 223 to 224 to 225. This was at 225 at 3:30 in the morning. Then it starts dropping 224.5, 224, 223.5, 223, 222.5, and now back to 221.5. So you'd say there's a 5-cent move on the under, but there's a bigger story to tell. On the spread here, we have the Clippers plus 4.5. They opened up at plus 5, dropped a half point to plus 4.5. Jake Burns says the Clippers suck. No, that's fair. There's a lot of truth to that, Rem. A lot of truth to that. I don't want to watch Jose take it down, though. 90% of tickets, 86% of cash on the over, but this has been dropping. Now, it still had a slight move to just a very tiny slight move, but we know the real story. And then we have 94% tickets, 93% cash on the Suns. Well, I mean, this market, to me, Bobano is screaming. Bet the Clippers here. It's screaming it at the top of the lungs. And also the situation as well. So Suns coming off their second straight win, 109-105 at home versus the Lakers on Monday. 2 nights off in Los Angeles is not usually the recipe for a sharp, focused basketball team. Bradley Beal questionable with the sprained right elbow. He came back from that. He missed a game. He came back. Played 35 minutes Monday against the Lakers, back on the injury report. So if he doesn't go, it'll be O'Neal, Dunn, Damian Lee. The Clippers are on the second half of back-to-back after suffering a 106-105 loss last night at home to the Blazers. What better opportunity? You know, everyone talking about how good they've looked really through 3 games until the 4th game. This is screaming Clippers bounce back spot to me. Bobano, take it away, Suns Clippers.
It's rest advantage for Phoenix. Clippers on a back-to-back, but a horrible loss, obviously, at the Intuit Dome last night, losing to the Portland Trailblazers. The Portland's going to be a feisty bunch, and I remember I liked Phoenix a little bit the last time they played, first game of the year in this building, the brand new Intuit Dome, and they had needed overtime to escape 116-113. So revenge for the Clippers. Clippers off a bad loss last night. It's rest advantage, though, for Phoenix. I still think Phoenix is the better team. There's just so many conflicting factors back and forth, Jimmy. It makes an easy pass for me. Makes it an easy pass for me.
I'm going to be moving on the Clippers. The question is, do we want to wait a little bit? I wonder, because when this first got to 4.5, it was pretty heavily juiced towards the Clippers. Now it's coming back. I mean, wouldn't surprise me to see this keep coming back, but Will Hill is at 4. So there's a lot of 4s on the board. Huh. Yeah, Dougie Wise, Phoenix is definitely the better team. But the fun thing about sports capping is the better team doesn't always win. So I'll definitely be on the Clippers. I just wonder when is the right time to bet it. That'll be the case with the Clippers and the Rockets.
It is back-to-back, but no travel, of course, because they're playing at home once again. That does help the Clippers here.
Enormously, yeah. Enormously. All right, let's review all action here. We'll start in NBA, and then we'll go through the 13 games that we capped here on today's show. Excuse me. Bobano is on the Bucks.
Actually, you know what, Jim? I got to run, but I'll let you recap. But
Sure.
Great stuff. We got through the great time, too. 1 o'clock. We've done the whole card already. Great stuff.
Yeah, we're moving nicely, my man. Thank you for all that you do for us. Of course, Bobano off to the Ice Guys show. Yep. Please rock with the Ice Guys 7 days a week. On Monday, he has the Hitting the Books college football show alongside Connor Mack on the Hitting the Books YouTube channel. And then, of course, we have the OG's NBA show alongside Ski Prophet, Dutch Boy Fresh, and Wham Bam 3000 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Bobano, thank you so much for your time, man. Any last words for the Capper Sporting Show?
This is my second show today already. Third show is going to be the Ice Guys coming up at the top of the hour, which I've got to leave to prep for right now. And by the way, first show today was with Philip Nelson, college football quarterback. He's my guest on the Football Frenzy, the NFL version. We recorded that this morning right before this show. Great show. Every game on the board, NFL. Check that out. Great analysis. We're doing great, both of us, picks-wise, on that show the last few weeks. So tune into that. Ice Guys coming up. The OG NBA show, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern. We don't have a show Thursday, which is why it's great I can come on here Thursdays with Jimmy to talk NBA. And then Fridays, we're on at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, an hour earlier on Fridays. So make sure you check it out. It's the old crew that you know and love. Ski, Dutch, Wham, and yours truly. NBA OG crew show. I'll be on Pub Hub with Jimmy on Sunday. Looking forward to that. NFL stream Monday night. So, Jimmy, good luck tonight. Everyone in the chat, good luck tonight. Let's cash some tickets. Have a good one, everybody. And happy Halloween. Don't eat too much candy.
There he is, Ian Cameron. Let's do a review of all action here on tonight's show. We have an hour and 56 minutes before I attempt to host the Cappers Contest show solo. I need you guys. I need you guys to support. We can't move on unless we have 20 votes on each game. We just came off a 4-1 week, moving in the right direction. So Bobano's on the over 6 at -124 in Seattle, Toronto. Then he's on the Blues money line at +140. I'll be making these future bets on the Flyers today, probably before 3 p.m. here. Yes, but he put your Halloween everywhere, man. Shit. Yeah, it's Halloween everywhere. And you know how many times I'm going to dress up for Halloween for you guys? 0. Fucking 0. Ducks at +165 for Bobano. The team total over 2.5, which I was planning on tailing at some point during the show, but I didn't yet, so I'll have to bet it now. And the over 6 at -125. I'm on the Ducks money line +155. We're both on the Habs. I got +175. Bobano got +185. We're both on the Bruins. I got +157. Bobano got +165. Then I'm on the under 6 at -115. Bobano's on the first period over 1.5 and the over 5.5 -130. Then I'm on Edmonton +113, and I'm going to move on the under here. Bobano is on the draw +350. Then Bobano's on the over 6 in Chicago, San Jose. And I am on the Sharks, but I'm going heads up against DC Capper. Not a fun thing to do. His play today is on the Blackhawks. I really like the Sharks in this spot. And then we move on to NFL. NFL, we had Ron Crawford play today on the Jets. BJ on the Jets money line. Stacks play today. Wilson over 64.5 receiving yards. And I am on the Jets -1.5. Dougie Wise on the Jets -2. Gerald Jones is on the under 43. I'm on the under 42, but Wager Detective is on the over, which is concerning. And the market's moving towards the owner. I'm very concerned about it all. Very concerned. Then we move on to college football. I stayed off of it, but Pig Milk played today, the over 56.5. He said he laddered away all the way up to 65. The total's dropping, so Bobano moved on at 54.5. Then we have our guy, UPK Ayash Yala, Robert Cherry in the house. He is on the Leafs, the Capitals, the Ducks, the Oilers, the Blackhawks, and he's on the Jets money line. Then in NBA, Ron Crawford played today, Memphis +6.5. And Bobano's on the Bucks team total over in the over 231.5. I'm going to bet that Ja Morant prop here in a second. I will check it out. We got Dutch Boy Fresh in the house. Let me copy and paste that. Dutch, my guy, thank you for the heads up. So I'm on Ja over 20.5 points. I'm going to shop at a couple different books. I only have the 2 going right now, so I'm not sure how good of a number I can get, but we'll see. Probably should put in some extra. And speaking of extra books, we have our links up on our website. We have new deals for a bunch of different books. Now we're working with the Illegal American Books. We want to help legalize sports gambling in Texas, and we've moved in that direction. So please, if you're looking at a way to support us, also, it's important for you guys to know, too, because we talk about the transparency in the channel and all that. We do not get a cent from anybody's losses. So there's people who are like, oh, well, you make your money off people losing their bets, and that is not 1 cent. Not 1 cent. We get a bonus for a sign up. That's it. We want you guys to take these books to the cleaners. We don't get 1 cent off of anybody losing. So make sure that's squashed and understood, because there's some places who have that deal. We don't. So keep that in mind. Bobano on Houston, +7 at -114. I want in on Houston. I just want to make sure it's the right time. I think that that there's truth to what I was being told from my guy. Who said it? Was it Chase? Oh no, it's the Chillist. The Chillist saying move on the Clippers now, and I will. But I wonder if I should move on the Rockets as well. There's my guy Tori Coker in the house. What up, Tori? A Scuntbag play today. Texans money line at +110. He also is on the Jazz money line. Dougie Wise on the Jazz -2. I can't mess with them right now. Hendrick's gone for the year. Markkanen with the back spasms. Do I want a full a menu that only features John Collins and Kyle Filipowski? Fuck no. And it's their 3rd game of 4 nights, so I don't want to be involved here. Moving on the Clippers right now. Ron Lofton on Suns money line, Harden over 2.5 threes. That's at +180. And that is our show for today. This has been the shortest show I've done in years. But 13 games, we hammered them all. We're not racing today because we're racing for $100 tomorrow, and we have the Cappers contest show. The most important thing for me, and Rod Zwacky says Spurs money line tonight. I love it. The most important thing for me today, we don't have it uploaded, but is our huge Breeders' Cup show. Tomorrow starts at 5:30 p.m. I'm still doing betting with the bag in the morning. But the Breeders' Cup show is very near and dear to my heart. It means a ton to me. So that is a 5:30 p.m. start. So if you just want to jump on and live bet with us, we'll be on, from 5 till about 10:30. All Breeders' Cup giant races. We'll do a couple races at Churchill, but I'm just going to focus. I'm not going to get into Charlestown and that shit on Friday. I'd rather be focusing on the time that we're not gambling on the show to capping the Saturday card together. So that'll be our plan. And then on Saturday, we start at 12:30 p.m., and we're going to be hammering the Breeders' Cup all day and all night. So get to the liquor store. Make sure you're stocked up. Make sure the bankroll's fat. We'll help with that. And let's get that cash. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Billy Friedrich, Lil Domo, I appreciate you. The Wager Detective, Justin McKelvey, Kelly McInnes, Rod Zawacki with great insights throughout the entire show. Dutch Boy Fresh, Tori Coker, The Pipe Layer, Chase J, The Sweaty Butcher, Man Bear Pig, The Chillest, The Illest, My Senpai. We got Andrew G in the house. Kong's Clips. It is dope though. You Ren Most, you're right. It's just a dope clip, man. It's just fucking dope, man. Let's hear it one more time. Jake Burns, Slow Jams, Arsenal, Rem Most, Tone Miggins, Levels Play Day, Kyrie Irving, 3s over 2.9 plus 105, Dougie Wise, My Dude, The Scomp Blaster, Chase J, Top Set, Jermaine. Thank you guys, man. Truly, Markel. We have nothing without you guys. Your support means so much. It gives me the opportunity to rock, man. And I won't get it. We won't get it unless we get people supporting, and you guys are doing just that. So truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. It's the weekend of my wildest dreams. Nothing I enjoy more than the Breeders' Cup, but it does require a ton of work. So I'm going to start doing it now, but I will see you guys in an hour and 49 minutes when we rock for the Cappers contest show. Those of you celebrating Halloween, those of you with the kids, which I will be doing as well, I'll be rocking with the kids tonight, and I'm not going to be able to be in the live stream or get to be a dad. And I'm very excited about that. Have a great Halloween. Stay safe and have fun. And thank you for all that you guys do to support our channel, because we truly have nothing without you guys. So let's go out there, get the fucking money, man. Let's hey, los bookmakers. Let's get paid in full, man. Roll that shit, light that shit, smoke it.
Pub Sports Radio's the crew, that's a fact. We all about bread, making bank accounts fat. Who the hell is that? LJ from the H, I stack green like Boston. Shout out to Nasty Nate from down south, where we ride on slab. 420 highway smoking with that boy Dabby Cab. Swing by Dallas with them Cowboy fans so we can smoke out J Money, cause you know that's our mans. Us against the bookies, put money in our pockets. Fly out to Vegas, meet up with Ski Profit. Hit the sports books, we got money to stack. Can't forget them college picks with that boy Conor Mack.